Good morning, members of council, staff, and the public watching. Please feel free to join me in a moment of personal reflection. Thank you. We are currently located on land which has long served as a site of meeting and exchange among the Mississauga peoples and is the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation. We honor, recognize, and respect this nation and its Indigenous peoples as the traditional stewards of the lands and waters on which we meet today. Members of Council, today I would like to acknowledge the OMSSA Local Municipal Champion Awards. And I'm pleased to announce that our Children's Services team, along with Peel, Halton, Toronto, have received the Ontario Municipal Social Services Association Award for their GTA ECE Recruitment and Retention Project. As you are all aware, the recruitment and retention of early childhood educators has been a long-standing provincial issue. The project brought the participating municipalities and the post-secondary institutions together to increase the number of ECEs across the Greater Toronto Area. Through a collective effort, staff worked with their colleagues to implement a fully funded, fast-tracked ECE program for the 210 additional graduates by 2023. Additionally, stabilization grants to fund additional expenses for almost 1,900 students in the accelerated and existing ECE programs were implemented. This collaboration focused on a shared vision to address workforce recruitment and retention issues identified by local child care operators across the 4 municipalities and support increased child care spaces and highly qualified care for families. The partnership also values the individualized local community characteristics of the post-secondary institutions to ensure the diversity of students is incorporated and respected in the program choices. The initiative leveraged existing relationships but has also sparked further collaboration between municipal partners and post-secondary institutions across the GTA in support of addressing sector-wide issues with proactive resolutions. Congratulations to regional staff on participating in this much-needed initiative to support child care in our region. Stella, to you and your team, congratulations. Mr. Clerk, could you please do a roll call and give the explanations on how the meeting will be run today?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to offer a couple reminders and some updates on how we will be conducting recorded votes and roll calls for today's meeting. First, thank you for all of your patience as we work through these processes and update how we conduct these votes with our new technology. With respect to a reminder, when we conduct a roll call or a recorded vote for members attending in person, your panels will light up and flash. The yes and no buttons on your panels will blink. That indicates that a vote is being requested from you. And when you select your option, that option will light up. So you can confirm your vote by seeing that the yes or no button will be lit up. The same applies for members participating electronically. You will be prompted on the right side of your screen with the yes or no option. The option that you select will light up. Roll call votes will be open for 30 seconds. For recorded votes, we will be foregoing the vote timer, and we will close the vote when it's confirmed that all members have voted. Thank you very much. I'll now conduct a roll call vote. just like to confirm for our virtual participants that you are in attendance, which includes Councillors Cook, Carter, and Schumer.
Yes.
Yes, I am, and I did vote.
I did as well. This is Linda.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Declarations of interest. Seeing none in the room. Mr. Clerk, online. Seeing none. We'll move into adoptions of minutes. Councillor Gerard, would you give me a motion to move 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3, please? Councillor Anderson, second that, please. Okay. Adoption of the minutes. Questions? Councillor Neal?
Yeah, under 4.3, the inaugural regional council meeting, November 30th, I thought that the chart was up only for a couple seconds. There was no questions in regards to it. Like Oshawa pays the most in regional taxes, and we have no one on the finance committee. So I voiced those concerns, I believe, to you and to the clerk's office as well. So I just wanted to make that, that I didn't understand why it was only up for a couple of seconds. It was. And so I thought I'd bring it to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Neal. As you're aware, all members of council could send in their 4 choices. We grouped those 4 choices. I'm proud to say that most of council got to their first, second choices, some their third, and one to their fourth. But I think the appropriate effort was put into that, and all the mayors were consulted. Okay, we'll move on. On the approval of the minutes, Mr. Clerk, I'm going to call the vote on all 3. All those in favor? In opposition? 1 in opposition, that carries. Members of council, we are now on to one of the most amazing parts of this meeting that takes place every year at Christmas. And I'm proud to put forth, it'll be in the form of a video. We have a Christmas video presentation from the children from various regional early learning child care centers singing for council. Mr. Clerk, when you're ready.
Twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. With this. Over the fields we go, laughing all the way. Ha, ha, ha. Bunnies?
Old toy trains, little toy tracks, little toy drums, coming from a stack, carried by a man, and by a grand. Little one, don't you think it's time to move it back? Close your eyes, listen to the skies. All is calm, all is well, steering you. a man dressed in white and red. Come on, don't you think it's time you were in bed?
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in the one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in the one-horse open sleigh.
Snowflake, snowflake, little snowflake, falling, 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 falling on my rose, falling on my head, falling on my arms, falling on my legs, falling on my face. Snowflake, snowflake.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Okay, you put your antlers in, you put your antlers out, you put your answers in, and you shake them all about.
Well, that was absolutely fantastic. And if you weren't in the Christmas spirit, I think you are now. And to the members of council that were singing along, I could hear you. And congratulations. Members of council, we'll move on to the next part. Item 5.2, Gary Cubitt, Vice Chair, Durham Regional Police Services Board, and Chief Todd Rollauer, Durham Regional Police Services, for the quarterly update. When you're ready, Mr. Cubitt, and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members of council, good morning. I am very pleased to be here today with Chief Rollauer to provide an update to council from the Police Services Board. First, the board extends a warm welcome to its newest members, and of course you all know 3 members were recently appointed by Regional Council: Mayor Carter, Mayor Collier, and Councillor Wu. All have since taken their oaths and participated in their first board meeting, and the board also recently welcomed Mr. Mark Welch, who was appointed by the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario for a 3-year term in October. All our newest members bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to the board table and will make a valuable contribution to the board's deliberations and decisions. I also wish to inform council that the board has officially launched the selection process for the next chief of police. As council is aware, the board engaged in a comprehensive community consultation prior to launching the process, with input received from a wide range of stakeholders and members of the public. The board will continue to receive advice from former Winnipeg Chief of Police Devin Clunas and former York Chief of Police Eric Joliffe. We look forward to identifying the best possible candidate to be the next leader of the Durham Regional Police Service early in the new year. I also want to take this opportunity to update Council on the development of the next strategic plan. Small group stakeholder discussions have taken place over the past few months, and larger town halls are planned for the new year. In addition, a survey is available online, and we invite you, each of you, to circulate this survey as broadly as possible. The board welcomes the perspectives and insights of council members on community safety issues, and we look forward to further engagement with you in the months ahead. The new strategic plan will take effect in 2024. Mr. Chairman, it is now my pleasure to invite Chief Rollauer to provide an operational update.
Good morning, Chair Henry and members of council. Once again, I do appreciate the opportunity to come before you and provide an update on the incredible work the members of our organization do each and every day. I'd like to start by speaking to you today about crime trends and staffing. I've been asked a number of times whether there is a correlation between the number of officers and crime rates. I believe it was in relation to the need for more officers and the notion that crime rates may not go down and may even rise with increased staffing. I want to stress that staffing does have an impact on community safety. If we had half the officers we have today, made fewer arrests and fewer charges, technically the crime rate would drop, but we would know that that would not be an accurate picture of crime and safety in our community. If we couldn't fund the RIDE program, we would be wrong to suggest that impaired driving has decreased because we didn't have the resources to actively locate and charge drunk drivers. As an example, having more hospital nurses wouldn't decrease the prevalence of care needed. But having sufficient policing resources does ensure the ability to respond quickly, efficiently, and effectively, and to deliver the best outcomes. The reality is there are so many factors outside of what we can do as a police service that impact crime rates. That includes social supports, education, housing, mental health, and addictions, to name a few. Also, with increased staffing, we're better able to respond to crimes that have been underreported, such as human trafficking. With that said, we are proactive when it comes to community policing, education, and offender management. And I will speak to that in more detail. When we talk about the great work our frontline officers do, I must acknowledge the civilian support and the technology that is essential in supporting our frontline officers. Our civilian members operate the Communications 911 Center to answer emergency calls, dispatch officers, and assist in getting important information during highly emotional times. Our fleet services ensures our cruisers are functioning and on the roads. Our records unit handles the growing demands for record checks and information requests. Our corporate communications informs and educates our public through media releases and social media to quickly find missing people, as an example, regardless of the time or day or night. Our members compile and gather important data and analytics that help us determine the best use of our resources. Our civilian staff are key elements in our collective ability to meet our growing demands being placed on this police service. As you can see by the graph, we have become more efficient in continuing to provide these important services with less staff per 100,000 population. I have spoken to council previously about the work our offender management unit does. This is a great example that speaks to resources, demand, and how staffing impacts community safety. This unit monitors dangerous offenders living in our community whose numbers far exceed our complement of sworn officers. While the number can fluctuate, today we have more than 1,200 offenders living in our region that we monitor. So far this year, our offender management unit has had 1,003 contacts with those only on the sex offender registry, and have laid 29 charges against 15 people. The Offender Management Unit has also completed 603 sex offender registries so far this year. Despite a decrease in proactive time available for our frontline officers, they still have conducted more than 1,600 compliance checks on individuals facing criminal charges and released into our community on court-imposed conditions. Just one of the innovative tools that I'm very proud of is a firearm bail dashboard. Through the shared firearm bail dashboard between the Toronto Police Service and the Durham Regional Police Service, we're able to share and display each other's bail offender information on internal dashboards. This innovative approach, the first of its kind in Canada, will help break down geographic barriers and ultimately lead to increased officer and community safety. It will also give frontline officers access to real-time situational awareness, enabling them to make data-driven decisions and assist in effective and objective resource allocation. One recent example where this proved helpful came when an accused person also provided a false name to our officers and was taken to our central cell block for processing and pending the results of a fingerprint submission for his identification. While awaiting the results, our special constable searched the firearm bail dashboard where it was confirmed his true identity. The accused was currently out on bail and wanted by Kingston Police related to drug and firearm related charges. And we'll have a short video here to play. We continue to see the number of service calls trending well above 100,000. We continue to trend at a 5-year increase in both urgent and emergency calls. Those calls often require the response of multiple units. So far this year, we've had an increase of about 2,000 urgent calls for service compared to 2021. As this region continues to grow, so do the number of calls for service, as I will highlight. So do the complexity of those calls. In 2010, we had 138 officers per 100,000 population. As we enter 2023, this number has dropped to 121 officers per 100,000 residents. With increased demands and call for service, there is need to increase our staffing. That trend leads us to seeing increase in response time. We know that this is partly due to the number of emergency domestic calls that do take longer to dispatch, leading to longer response times. But we also know that it is impacted by the increase in calls for service, the complexity of those calls, and the amount of time our officers remain at scene or may be waiting at the hospital on a Mental Health Act apprehension. The average time spent on scene at a call for the service, which can impact response times to other calls, has increased this year by nearly 10 minutes, which is 17% above the average over the last 4 years. It is not immediately clear why this is the case and is something we are continuing to explore. For example, officers spend an average of 163 minutes during a domestic call for service, whereas in previous years, the median was between 142 and 148 minutes. 7 of the top 20 calls for service by volume have seen an increase of 10% or more on time spent on scene, where the remainder have seen minimal reductions in time at scene. On this chart, you can also see the top 5 calls with respect to time we spend on scene. We are starting to see roadway incidents move back to pre-pandemic numbers. We went through the first quarter of this year without a fatality and are below the 5-year average. And unfortunately, last night we added another fatality. A pedestrian was unfortunately struck and killed by a motor vehicle. Personal injuries in motor vehicle collisions have also risen compared to the previous 2 years, reflecting what we saw pre-pandemic. Incidents of property damage from motor vehicle accidents have also risen, again closer to numbers we saw in 2018 and 2019. With an increasing in population and more vehicles on our roadways, we know that both our service and the region are continuing to work to do what we can to reduce roadway fatalities and injuries. Reported violent crime continues to be a concern. There has been a 5-year average increase in all assaults, including assaults with a weapon, which is up 16%. Sexual assaults are up 43% over the 5-year average, and we are working to better understand why this has elevated and whether there are more sexual assaults occurring or that they are just being reported more frequently. Our weighted clearance rates for violent crime has been relatively consistent over the past 5 years in the low to mid 60% range. Among our comparative service, the Durham Regional Police ranks number 2 in weighted clearance rates, despite having less officers per population. Again, that speaks to the fact, as a service, we have worked hard to find efficiencies in order to meet our expectations. We've had 14 homicides with 15 victims this year, which is the highest in our service's history. I want to say I am proud of our homicide unit and the work on how they work tirelessly to resolve 80% of the incidents so far this year. Their professional and diligence is exceptional and second to none. The number of guns on our street is also concerning. We know that about 90% of handguns we have recovered have come through the U.S. border. Again, this speaks to how staffing and our frontline officers on patrol has led to pulling over more vehicles and getting more guns off the streets during routine traffic stops. So far this year, we have seized 188 crime guns, which is a 33% increase over the past year. 17 of those seizures came from traffic or subject stops, suspicious vehicles, or motor vehicle collisions. While we have fewer reported firearm discharges than the last couple of years, we have seen an increase in the number of people injured and killed. I want to acknowledge the hard work of our Gun and Gang Enforcement Unit and the collaboration with other jurisdictions to address the escalating issue of gun crime across our region and province. Stolen vehicle incidents continue to trend upward. In September, we were averaging about 20 stolen vehicles per month in Durham. That went up to 32 in October and 38 in November. Project Red Start was a month-long investigation led by members from West and East Division CIBs with the assistance of Gatineau Police Service and the Canadian Border Services Agency. It targeted organized vehicle theft networks originating from the Montreal area and operating throughout the GTA. Project Red Start was initiated because of the high number of vehicle thefts occurring daily within our community. The team arrested 11 individuals, laid 55 charges, and seized a total of 33 vehicles. Project Touchdown was a joint forces operation led by York Regional Police and involved Durham Regional Police Service, Peel, Halton, Canadian Border Service Agency, and other agencies. It was a 6-month project that recovered 215 vehicles at a value of more than $17 million that were being trafficked to international destinations. Officers also seized 15 handguns and 1 assault rifle. Additionally to these great joint force operations, our frontline officers across the region have done an amazing job in recovering a number of stolen vehicles recently, making arrests connected to these thefts. This slide is not new, but it is important to mention as we head into the new year. Durham's population, as you know, is expected to grow to 1.3 million by 2041. Policing is about having highly trained, skilled officers and a strong team of support staff and technical infrastructure that allows them to be proactive in community policing and responsive to crimes that may be occurring. As Chief, I am responsible with making sure that we provide our citizens with the best police service we can with the resources we have. It is my job to ensure we are doing that efficiently and to the best of our ability. It is also my responsibility to advocate when I believe that there are gaps that may negatively impact the safety of our community and members of our service. We are proposing a budget increase this year of 6.09%. 70% of that is to manage inflationary pressures and hold the line to existing services we provide despite the increase in population. 1.73% increase is to add 20 frontline officers to respond to calls, perform checks on dangerous offenders, keep our roadways safe, 13 officers for serious and organized crime units to help take guns and drugs off our street and make a dent in stolen vehicle thefts and organized crime rings, and 8 administrative positions to support our frontline officers and service to meet the demands and expectations of our community. And on behalf of all our members, I would like to wish all members of Regional Council, staff, and our residents a safe and wonderful holiday season. Mr. Chair, that is my report, and I am happy to answer questions you or members of Council may have.
Thank you, Chief. There are a number of speakers in the speaker request box. First is Councillor Lee.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chief Roller, for your quarterly report. Always insightful. My first question is actually regarding hate crime statistics. We've been told that there's been a rise in Durham region of hate crime statistics. Obviously, it's not one of the benchmarks of like homicide or, violent crime, but I was wondering, would you have any update offhand of whether you saw an increase or decrease in hate crime?
Yeah, I don't have the statistics on hate crime before me. I certainly can get that.
Would you know roughly if we've seen an increase or decrease since the last report?
No, sorry, that information.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to that the next time then. So the last time you and I, or the council and you spoke was in June, so about 6 months ago, and I had asked the question for any new or returning councillors regarding a survey that was done. So I think it was like I think it was about 3 years ago, almost to the day. There were some problems with diversity and the DRPS, and DRPS outlined a 4-point strategy. I don't remember the exact 4 points. One of them being was a survey to at least get the makeup of the police force. You said 6 months ago, unfortunately, there was some bad data being inputted in that, and so unfortunately the whole survey was in a sense scrapped, right? What is the follow-up on that then? So it's just like, it's still important data. It was one of the commitments we made to the community as a whole, saying we're going to change. We understand there's some gaps. We want to make that change. And, especially with BLM, we saw a lot of a social movement across the continent of wanting this change. So I'm just wondering, from the DRPS point perspective, what is the update on that?
Yeah, thank you for that question. And as I've updated before, we did put that survey out. I was very impressed with the response by our membership. It was over 80%. Unfortunately, a member of our organization compromised that data. That investigation is ongoing. I won't speak to that. However, we do have a plan to initiate that in January. I believe January 16th we'll be putting that out. I think the reality is our members, and I think it's survey fatigue that I think we all experience. I think the community experienced that sometime. So putting out that survey right on the heels of asking it for the first time, from my perspective, was problematic. I wanted to give it some time to let our members, because we're always putting out surveys. And to me, this, and you've talked about it, is important data. I want as many members of our organization to input that data, because it'll help.
So, I mean, so much like even the region, in this council report, actually, we did our own survey and we were able to, quantify that data. And I think it's an important first step. As a larger whole, Regarding that 4-point plan that was introduced to us almost 2-3 years ago, what's the progress on that? Because I hate to think that we're very much reactionary whenever something happens. We say to the communities who are outraged, justifiably so, we're going to make the change. 100%. We see the error, we're going to make the change, and then it kind of falls to the wayside until the next incident happens. So I think it's ultimately our responsibility as council to ask, whether it's the police board or yourself, what is the update for these kind of changes?
Yeah. So we do. The board has developed a strategic plan, an action plan to enhance trust and confidence. They've directed me on a number of elements within that plan, and those 4 points are embedded within that plan. I update the board quarterly on that, so it is in public. So that information is readily available to council members and the members of the public. We are making headway. I'm very proud of our efforts as an organization to what we've done, engaging our community, getting race-based data collection. We have our data from 2021. That's going to be released in January of 2023. SolGen has released new information with respect to the collection of race-based data. That's going to assist all police services across this province with capturing it. That's going to benefit, again, this organization. In terms of annual training with respect to race, anti-racism, anti-black racism, and bystander intervention, we have 24 members that became certified in active bystander law enforcement. They are instructors. They are instructing our members. We do have a video of that. We certainly can provide that to you on what that training is about. And again, in terms of community participation in recruit interviews, we've had our DAC committee review the questions we've asked. We're looking to see if there's any barriers that we have in place in terms of process that are prohibiting members from our community from applying. So we do have a robust list, and I'm certainly happy to share that board report with you. Like I said, it is a public document. We have been reporting to the board quarterly on that. So,
sure. Just overall, if I can make just the suggestion, then your next report, that's always key information. I would love to see updates on hate crime statistics. Whether I think the DRPS is doing a very good job in getting in front of it. But you still hear from members in the community, from all different communities, not just the Black community, but also anti-Asian hate, anti-Semitism, that it is on the rise. Especially with Hanukkah just being, we're celebrating the 5th day of Hanukkah right now. So it is important that we capture this and let the community know that we're capturing this and we're on top of it. So I'd love to see an update on that in your next report, as well as the update on the 4-point plan that was, I think we're entering year 3 now, because I definitely want to see that progress. I don't want to constantly bring up these same points to you over. You're sick of me, I'm sure. And I think it's important that we tell the community that we are partners in this and we're working together on this.
Yeah, certainly, and I'll look to Chris. He develops the PowerPoint, so we will get that ad. But again, our 4-point plan, I report on it quarterly. It is available. It is a public document, so it is out there. But we will make it part of, subject to the chair's direction, part of the next presentation, including hate crime.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Next is Councillor Crawford.
Hi, Chief.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. First of all, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to meet with me. A couple of times we've done it now, and it's been really, really informative. So I really want to say I appreciate that. I appreciate all the work that you've done. You've taken over, 2 years ago now? Is it
2 and a bit, yes.
2 and a bit years ago. Yeah, taken over the reins and, done a great job. So I really appreciate that. Really disturbing thing happened in Toronto. I think it was yesterday, the day before, where there was a swarming of age 13 to 16 girls that got together randomly from not even really knowing each other from some sort of social media thing, and then stabbed a homeless man to death, charged with second-degree murders. I think I heard about this a while ago. Does this happen often? Have we seen this happening in Durham?
No. Obviously, we have groups of youth that get together, and sometimes they form a mob mentality. We have seen that, but not to the extent that we've seen in Toronto. That was certainly an unfortunate incident. But I think the reality is, and I spoke to it, we're seeing violent crime increase. It's not just happening in Durham region. It's unfortunately happening across this province and nation. It'd be nice to know the root cause for that. I think part of it is a social issue, but certainly as a police service, we're doing all we can to work with our youth to try to steer them in different directions, but certainly unfortunate. violence is increasing. I'd be lying if I tried to steer it in.
At such a young age.
Yeah.
Yeah, their lives are over, right? The body worn camera. Can you give me an update? Are we all suited up on that?
We are doing, from my perspective, we had a 3-year plan, so 2023 will be our final year. We have body worn cameras in every division except 17 division. What we've really noticed is the volume of work behind the scenes, the camera itself and the officers wearing it. We haven't really noticed a significant increase in time for that, but it's the storage, the redacting, the reviewing is taking much longer than we predicted, and it's consuming an incredible amount of resources. So right now I would say we've put a pause on it, but we have to assess, because when we add more than 100 cameras more for Oshawa officers, it's just going to increase the workload that's already on the staffing. So we have to do a staffing analysis on their workload before we move forward. Deputy Bertram is leading that right now. That is well on the way. So our plan is this fall to have body-worn cameras introduced into the Oshawa area, and that will fulfill our commitment that was provided to us about in implementing body-worn cameras over a 3-year period.
And have you found them beneficial?
Yeah, they are. They provide. The reality is it has assisted our officers in demonstrating the professionalism and what they encounter. We do audit random clips to assess the officer's performance. That's not the primary reason why we have body-worn cameras, but it is a tool, and we have supervisors reviewing it. And from time to time, we have noticed learning points for our officers. So yeah, it's beneficial for evidentiary purposes. It's beneficial to, if there's a community concern about the conduct of an officer, it's clear. And certainly from a training perspective, we're learning from body-worn camera footage as well. So it is benefiting, but it is a significant time on our resources to capture the video, to redact it, to store it, to review it. It's proving more cumbersome than we had anticipated.
Thank you.
So we will probably require more staffing if we're going to introduce more cameras.
With the introduction of Bill 23, have you been having some sort of any kind of discussion with the board around? I mean, because let's face it, that's going to increase. That's got to have an impact on staffing. When you start adding that amount of homes into Durham over the next little while, we're already behind, as you said. So have you been having any of those discussions with the board yet?
Yeah, we have ongoing. We have a 10-year staffing plan. We discuss regularly with the board on off-site meetings about what the future of this region looks like. We get obviously the numbers from the region in terms of growth, and we try to assess staffing requirements to meet that demand. And like I said in my presentation, 2010 we had 138 officers per 100,000. It's now going into 2023. We're down 17 officers per 100,000 to 121. We've become more efficient over those years. I'm proud of the work that Chief Hughes has done, proud of the work that Chief Martin has done to find efficiencies. But from my perspective, where I sit, there's no pencil left. We can't sharpen anymore, and it's about getting resources, and that's what we need. That's the reality, especially with the growing population. Those officers are going to be needed to serve and protect our community if we're going to maintain the service level that our residents are currently enjoying.
Thank you. Thank you for your report. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next would be Councillor Kerr.
Thank you, Chair, and through you to the Chief. Thank you, Chief, to you and your staff for your usual effective report. I just have one area of questioning. Used to teach in the Police Foundations program at Durham College, and it's quite a few more years than I'd like to admit right now. But at that time, domestic disputes were always a number 2 call for police service behind motor vehicle accidents. You always hear about the accidents, but for very good reasons you don't hear about the domestics. I noticed in about a third of the way through your presentation where you had the slide that had the types of investigations, the amount of time on site, was a disturbingly high number more of domestics than motor vehicle accidents. Is that a long-term trend over the last 20 years, or is it something that's been exacerbated by the pandemic? And I'm just wondering where you see that trend going in future. It's quite disturbing.
Yeah, I think, and that's time on call. Domestic violence also is, in terms of number of calls, is one of our top 5 as well. So that has been consistent for quite frankly, as long as I've been a member of command. So the last 5 years, domestic violence has been within our top 5. So it is. We haven't seen a significant change. Even through the pandemic, we didn't notice a significant decrease in domestic violence reports.
Okay. Are you finding that there are more reports in the last 5 years than perhaps historically? Are the number of reports going up, and is that because people are choosing to report more, or is it the number of incidents? Do you have a handle on that?
So Deputy Birch, just domestics are up 20%. Is that this year or the last 5 years? This year. Yeah, I don't have the data back 5 years. I certainly can look at that. We have all that data, so we can get the last 10 years on domestics and get that to you to show you the increase or decrease, or whether it stayed relatively consistent. Obviously, this year from Deputy Bircham, we're up 20%. Although I see that as a good thing, that people are reporting, because from a policing perspective, we don't get a true picture of crime in our community if people are not reporting it. Same with hate crime. Like, if that is underreported, we're not getting a true picture. So we have to build confidence in our community to call the police. So it's disappointing that there's an increase in domestic violence, but on the other hand, I'm glad people are feeling confident to call the police and get our assistance to help getting them out of those situations.
So I used to do some work with Denise House, and they used to say that it was between 27 to 34 cycles of violence before, especially a woman would report to the police. And I'm wondering, has there been an educational program or an outreach to try and encourage more people to report sooner so they don't go through that many cycles of violence? Is that maybe why some of the numbers might be up?
Potentially, yeah. We have a intimate partner unit that investigates all domestics, and they have a strong working relationship with a number of community partners. We do all that we can to educate, but I know our community partners are deeply invested in that as well, doing all we can to ensure that people have the confidence when they pick up the phone. Because picking up the phone and calling the police is challenging sometimes, especially when you're calling on an intimate partner, somebody you've been with for a long time. So it's having that confidence, and sometimes it's more so our community partners that provide them the confidence and the support and stand shoulder to shoulder with them when they finally make that call to the police.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Chief. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Next in the speaker's box is Mayor Foster.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Chief, I'll simply give you a call. I think it'll be easier, quicker, and better conversation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next would be Councillor Pickles.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Chair. And when I walked in, I saw you here. I thought perhaps you were going to be doing the Christmas caroling today for us. So I regret that I didn't get to hear that.
Next year.
Thank you for your presentation. It's always helpful. It's always helpful speaking with your staff when we have particular incidents or from time to time regular meetings. Unfortunately, we had a domestic dispute that led to a stabbing in Pickering just recently, and I was nearby, wasn't involved, but the presence and attendance by the force was much appreciated. Car thefts. I seem to hear more and more about car thefts in Pickering on many streets that are familiar to me. During your presentation, I thought I heard you say something about 25 to 35 car thefts. Is that in Durham for the year? Because it seems to me that I hear much more about those. So maybe I'm thinking the number's much greater, but is that not the 25 to 35?
That was a month. So in the month.
A month. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're well over, I believe it's 600-700 vehicle thefts in our region this year.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense with what I've heard. So, and it was great timing. The news you had about the Red Start arrest. That's wonderful. I wonder, and everybody puts out, get the bar on the wheel, hide your VIN number, get a Faraday box, and all that. But I expect that sophisticated criminals can get around all those sort of technologies if they really set their mind to it. Are you thinking of having a greater promotion about how people can protect their vehicles or through use of cameras or other devices help ebb or at least assist police in arrest with respect to car thefts, given the number that we heard was sort of 12 times more than what I was thinking when you originally gave your presentation. Is there a public promotion program that we can do to assist people in trying to stem the thefts?
Yeah, that's a great question, and the answer is yes. We talk about that frequently, and yes, we have done that. Chris, when was that? Was it November? We put the video. Yeah. So there was a month ago, because of the volume of thefts, we do put out tips. It is ongoing. We discuss about it frequently. We do campaigns with our auxiliaries. We go into certain communities using database information. If we see a particular neighborhood getting targeted, we will go door to door, knock on doors, putting out pamphlets, giving advice on what they can do to mitigate theft of vehicles. Because you're absolutely right. If there's somebody motivated enough, they will steal your car no matter what, unless it's, and it's gated in a fenced area in a garage. But if it's just simply parking in the driveway, the club won't stop it. It'll slow them down. But I think it's simple things. The more you do to make it more inconvenient, they'll move on to somebody else's vehicle.
And are there, this is something you can maybe explore more in your tips, but are there certain types of cars that you can't steal? You always hear more about Honda CR-Vs that people are stealing. So some are easier to steal than others. Are some not stealable?
No, I don't think so. I think every car can be stolen. I think it's kind of what the order is for these organized crimes. We've noticed it's been pickup trucks, Dodge Rams, Fords. They've been stolen. Obviously, the Lexuses, the Acuras, the Jeeps. It seems to ebb and flow, but they're high-end vehicles, and they're getting shipped over to overseas. I know somebody that had their vehicle stolen. They know it was recovered overseas, and the new owner had the gall to ask them if he could send the key fob over to them. So it was, they're over there.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. I won't belabor it, but it is something that we hear more and more about. And if your tips can address not only what people can do to their vehicle, but also what they can keep an eye for in the neighborhood. You hear a lot of people report that some people are going up and down the street looking at VIN numbers, and then 2-3 nights later, some of those cars are gone. So maybe to advise people what they can watch for and report. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. Next is Councillor Anderson.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Chief, for being here as usual. And please extend my regards to your members as well. I'm just following up on a question from that Councillor Lee asked about minorities being recruited into the force or the lack thereof. I just realized just last week, as a matter of fact, that there is a 15 to 20,000 price tag if you apply to, I guess it's for the college. Could that be dissuading, especially from marginalized communities? They don't have that kind of money, and you could be a young kid that doesn't have a credit. How do you get around that?
Yeah, so there's bank institutions that it's not a lump sum. There's financial institutions that we work with. We don't promote them, but we let them know that they can make monthly payments, like a car payment or a mortgage payment. Certainly, the education is a barrier. Certainly, we can look at paying, but it's yeah, correct. It's just over $15,000 per candidate if we're looking at hiring 60 officers a year. That obviously will have an impact on our budget, but certainly we can explore that. But there are certainly opportunities for new recruits across this province to get assistance with funding. But certainly I know there's been some discussion. Yeah, it's a budget. The CAO just, and I wasn't aware of this, we used to pay for it, but the impact on our budget became too great.
Okay. Could you probably pay for a portion of that? Would that be a budgetary
I think it would be, we could certainly put that in a line item for the 2024 budget for the board's consideration and regional council's consideration. Obviously, yeah, but I can't see taking a budget line item right now and allocating that to that because our resources are, we can't steal from one to do another. So we'll look at that for our 2024 budget, see if we could put that as a line item. In terms of you know, and the CAO McClellan has been assigned that for 2022. It was about recruiting priorities. And to me, it's two things. It's not just recruiting; it's hiring. There's two distinct pieces. So, what are we doing to recruit individuals and then bring them in, and then we want to hire the best of the best. So, and again, I talked about it a little bit earlier. If there's financial barriers, we have to look at that. I think there's a lot of opportunities outside of paying for it that individuals can have. But I will take that away, and I will look at that, and we'll have that the budget discussion, or our next chief will have that as a budget discussion for 2024 to see if we want to bring that forward.
Okay, so you're agreeing that that could be a big barrier for certain communities or certain individuals who just see that figure and that dissuades them completely from doing that, which is unfortunate.
Again, I think there's opportunities because once you get hired, policing and this council now is paid very well. So to pay off $15,000 over 2 or 3 years, I don't think would be a significant impact. But I think it's having that discussion and letting potential candidates know that there are options and it's not one lump sum. You have to pay $15,000 up front. I think it's that education piece that we have to do, perhaps.
All right, so okay, so maybe it's around messaging as well.
Yeah.
Sim, you got off easy today.
Giving me work to do.
Those are my questions for today. Thank you again for being here, and I find this very informative and helpful. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mayor Schumer.
Thank you very much, Chair. And through you to the Chief, and thank you, Chief, for coming out and giving us this update. Most of my questions have been answered, but the one question I still have is you've made a number of references, not just in today's update, but I believe in your prior presentations to council regarding staffing. And you use the metric of the number of officers per 100,000. As you know, Durham region is quite a mix of rural and urban areas, as are used to compare. So I'm just wondering if you can add anything to how we should read these stats with respect to the mix of rural and urban areas in the region.
I'm sorry you cut out or you froze a little bit, I think, right in the key element of your question. So can I just ask you to repeat just the last part of your question?
Sure. I'm just wondering if you can add anything to the statistics that you were using with respect to officers per 100,000, with respect, how that works into a region with, urban and rural areas, which obviously have differing demands.
Yeah, that is a really good question. So we constantly assess staffing, and through Deputy Mariano's leadership, he's constantly looking. We call it the patrol staffing analysis. So we deploy resources really based on workload. Except up north, we recognize just because of the vast geographical area, their workload is a little less, obviously, than the southern municipalities, but because of the vast space we have to cover patrol, we've increased staffing in that area. So it's really based on workload, response times, and as we're seeing the fluctuation, we've noticed in North Durham an increase in response time. So I think as we look at staffing increases for this organization, part of the decision making when we deploy our resources, where we're determining where they go, is what's the workload increase in specific areas, and what's the response time to those specific areas. So it's not just, we have gaps or we're putting people where we want to. We base it on data, and our decision making is based on data. So moving forward, that's and like I said, the staffing analysis is ongoing. We're again using the data we have to make those decisions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Marin Pietri.
Thank you, Chair, through you to the Chief. Good morning to you and to the board. and especially to the men and women that serve. I want to extend our appreciation,
Thank you.
as well to the new board members, specifically those from council, Mayor Carter, Mayor Collier, Councillor Wu. I know that they'll engage the process to help make things better in our community, and by better I mean safer. So my question through you to the chief is that there was a time where violent crime perceptively seemed to be an issue in any community, but here we've got data that say it's on the rise, and I think it's incumbent upon us not just to understand, why it's happening, but I'd like to know where it's coming from. There's got to be some key indicators as to where it's coming from. We see the hot spots. We read the news. I mean, when we talk about some of the issues that we're incurring, it seems very Americanized. The carjackings, the issues that the gunplay, gang activity. But in your understanding of the intel that you have, where is this coming from in Durham? Because we've never seen it before, not to this level.
I think if I had the answer to that, we would certainly address it, and that's, I think, as chiefs across this province, we talk regularly about this, and there's not I think fundamentally it's a social issue. I think it stems. I don't think people are born. I think there's the odd person, but I think generally people aren't born with a predisposition to be violent. I think it occurs as they grow up, depending on the family setting, what they're exposed to. So what are the social impacts that are causing them to choose a life of at-risk behavior? It just doesn't happen overnight. So I think I believe it's a more social issue. I'm not deflecting this. We have a significant responsibility in community safety and working with partners, but I don't have an answer to that. I think it's poverty. I think it's jobs. I think it's challenges with single parent family. I think there's a whole host of reasons why we're seeing a more violent community. It's concerning to me, and it's concerning to my counterparts across this province and nation, quite frankly. We are not isolated, sadly. Not that I wish it was only happening in Durham, but it's concerning for me that it's not just in one area isolated. It is occurring across this country. People are more violent.
It's unfortunate, and it's actually not just frustrating, but it's starting to become a little scarier than what we'd expect in Canada. And in a region like ours, through you, Chair, you sympathize with the police force, but especially the neighborhoods. I'm just going to ask a question because I know that your presentation today was to inform us of the update from your end and the police services, but as well as present us a budgetary number, which I believe was 6.9, if I'm not mistaken.
6.09, so just almost, yes.
6.09, so almost 6.1. So typically the regional council that any of them that I've been a part of has rarely argued against police resources. And I think you're not going to get much of an argument from this council either. The only, I think, consideration that I would have through you, Chair, is whether it's you or the new chief, taking a look at the violent crimes that are occurring, can we expect through that 6.9 that we're going to have a different strategy? Because what's happening now, I can't say is not working. It's just not enough. And I think you know where I'm going with this. I've asked about police stations. You've indicated as a force that deployment is the measure that could help. What new forms of deployment or strategies can we expect as a council, as a community, as part of that number, as part of our strategy moving forward to help us? Because things aren't getting any better, unfortunately. The numbers kind of prove that.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I'm extremely proud of what this organization does. We are innovative. I won't certainly get into all what we're doing covertly, but we're out there, and you're right. The reality is, and I'm a true believer, and I respect our residents and the value they get for policing. I'm not asking for the Bentley or Mercedes of policing in terms of staffing, but I want to provide adequate and effective service that's above standard. I don't want to just meet minimum. And we have done it. We've done a very good job over the last 10 years. We've been asked to tighten our belts. We've been asked to find efficiencies. And we're creating a document through the CAO in case anyone asks at some point about what we've done over the last decade to become a more efficient police service. Because you can't just throw staffing without having a plan. And so we have that plan, but now it's about staffing. And I think more officers on the road, because when you look at it, we're getting more calls for service. That's an indication.
Yep.
We're getting more, it's taking longer for police officers to respond to calls. That's an indication. I think if we have more officers on the street pulling cars over, we're going to get more guns. We're going to make more arrests. If we have more officers on the road, we're going to be responding to calls quicker. We're going to be there sooner, getting evidence or maybe capturing individuals before they flee. Like even our comms 911, I'm very proud of the work they do. But I think it was about 4 years ago we were answering 911 calls 96% of the time within 8 seconds. That has dropped slightly to 92. We're above the national standard, which is within 15 seconds, but I don't want that to drop anymore. But it shows there's increased workload, there's increased pressures, there's increased requirements for this police service, and the only way to address it now is with staffing. We're at that threshold from my perspective. So in terms of new strategies, yeah, we're always looking at that, and we always will. That's why, and again, through Dean's leadership and his investigative teams, whether it's gun and gangs or drug enforcement unit, they're always looking at new and innovative ways, and they're constantly working with our provincial partners because they're doing new and innovative things, and if we can learn from them, and that's what we do. We're closely working with police services across this province and nation to do better with respect to violence.
And certainly through you, Chair, I can say that from the police officers that I know that have either served previously or are coming in new and they're serving, that I meet and I speak to, they care. Their families care. We care for them. They're doing everything they can to keep us safe. The only question that I would have when it comes to budgets is, can we take a look at the budget? And it pains me to hear things like the cameras are going to cost X amount just for the data. And I guess, this is something we've approved and may look and sound right, but how safe is it keeping us? Like, are we prioritizing the right things in order to advance people's safety? And one of the questions through you, Chair, and the last one I'll leave us, because it's not something you can answer. This is something that you may want to take back to your counterparts at the province in different ministries, but are we planning communities in a way that incubate this kind of thing? Like, that's a question that I would ask openly. And you look at legislations, and I won't belabor the point of the places to grow at and the densities, but the hotspots kind of tell the story. So through you, Chair, I'd like to start having a conversation with people at the provincial level so that we can at least keep ourselves out of planning jail, as I call it here, because we often push back on neighborhoods that are developed or planned this way, but it's jammed down our throats. And then we have to fund you as police force to be able to keep us safe when we knew it wasn't going to be something that was good for us. So we need to have these conversations because this transcends budgets. It's just a simple means of, social reality. So just wanted to leave that with you, through you, Chair, to the Chief.
Did you want to offer a comment, Chief?
I don't necessarily disagree in terms of, I think, making informed and data-based decisions are important for the prosperous of the community. People need places to live, but having a maybe provincial lens on building and allocation of housing and individuals, I think that's warranted because you're right. If you put all seniors in one area of the province, it's going to be an impact on healthcare. So I'm not sure any police chief will have a significant impact on that. I think, quite frankly, it comes from elected officials to have those discussions with the province and the federal government.
I think through you, Chair, what I'd like to hear from the different chiefs across, the metropolitan areas, and I consider us, if you heard the numbers and where we want to go to 2040 plus, we're going to be a metropolitan city. Some other places are already that metropolitan. So through you, Chair, I'd like to hear the chief say, listen, to the province, it's nice and everything you guys want to plan, all this density, but this is causing policing issues, and this is something that is of concern in terms of safety, because it is, a common theme when you talk to people. So I'll leave that through you, Chair, and wish you Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and the force.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, Chief.
Councillor Schmidt?
Thank you, Chair Roy. Most of my questions have been answered. Councillor Pickles asked them. I just wanted to come back to car thefts just a little bit, because that was the number one thing that we got in terms of safety from our communities, specifically the newer additions within Whitby. And I'm wondering that I did raise this last time you had come here, was the fact that if there was any safety social media that you have put out, and I know one thing that came out of it was put the cars in the garage. I understand that. But what if one day you're lazy or are rushing through and you don't, and the next thing you know, your car's gone? Is there something that you can put out in social media that us as councillors can share it with the public as well? That's one. And the other thing that I wanted to raise was the fact that once we go out back and do town halls and something, if we send an invite, would your officers be able to come and educate us and residents of how to keep our cars and homes safe? My fear, through you, Chair, is the fact that our cars are getting taken off. What is to expect next time? I mean, some of us may leave our doors open. We find our community safe to do that. But my fear is I don't want anybody to be any more bold than what they are already. So I'll leave it there. Thank you so much. And I really, please extend my happy holidays to your entire team. And thank you so much for the hard work and staying away from family during holidays. I do appreciate that. Thank you. That'll be all, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor McDougall?
So, Mr. Chair, I thought there was two questions that I can give a brief answer to if you would like.
Go ahead, please.
So, in terms of your first question about, I would encourage you to sign up to our Facebook page and our Twitter page, because that's where we get the information sent out. So if you're seeing it on that, that would be probably to be the easiest thing. So if you sign up for those, you will get those media outputs, then you can share with your constituents. In terms of supporting you at any community, absolutely. I would just ask to each councillor, you get a hold of your respective divisional inspector, and that's my expectation, is that we will be there if we're invited to a community gathering to talk about community safety. My expectation is that we will be there and we will support communities. So it's just a phone call. And if we need to get a subject matter expert, if it's on hate crime or if it's on a specific area, we'll make sure that resource is there to answer any questions. But the first step would be getting a hold of your divisional inspectors to come out to any community town hall.
Follow up? Go ahead.
Chair, thank you so much. Just a quick follow-up on the fact that once you do send something out for car thefts or any bulletin really of safety, is it a possibility to circulate it to us in an email format as well? I know that Twitter and all of that, we may not use it or be keeping an eye on it, or it may not flash in our phones or devices. Is that a possibility?
It is, I think, creating that framework, because I'm not sure you want to be inundated with everything. So I think it would be a better understanding. We could probably take that offline, maybe with the clerk, to determine what the council would want. Certainly, I'm not opposed to that, but I would suspect you wouldn't want to get inundated with everything that we send out. So I think it would be establishing what the framework is, and certainly we will look at that from a police service. But I guess over to the chair for, do you want to be inundated with everything we send out, or what's the framework? And again, I don't think that decision's for now, but if there's
I understand. There is a bulletin that sends out to the mayors perhaps every month. We get them too, and perhaps maybe sneak something in that. I'll try to look into it for sure.
Okay, yeah, I know the divisional inspectors send the documents to the mayor, so maybe through Deputy Marano, we could look at those significant media releases that we've sent out, or public information releases. We can include those. So we'll take, that's an easy, if that's meets the needs of council, that's easy to do.
Thank you so much. Again, really appreciate it.
Councillor McGough?
Thank you, Chair Henry. Thank you for this presentation. My quick comment on we're hearing a lot on vehicle thefts, and one of the things I'm thinking is I've never yet had a bicycle stolen in Port Perry, and buses are hard to steal. So there is other means to get around not having your vehicle stolen other than parking it in the garage. One, I'd like to clarify, as traffic levels return back to pre-pandemic levels, that DRPS has a commitment to Vision Zero to reduce our road deaths to near zero. Two, in terms of staffing, and this is kind of my real question today, I'm not sure exactly in terms of the age of the force, and we hear, publicly that there's a lot of professions that are aging, and there's a large portion of people who are looking at leaving professions in the next 5 and definitely 10 years. Is there a plan to ensure that the skills and knowledge that they have developed, which takes usually a long time to get to, that can be passed efficiently and effectively to newer and younger officers that will be hopefully coming on? That's my question. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yes, and that's been embedded in the organization for some time. Deputy Bertram right now for 22 was assigned our succession planning to really look at how we do that as an organization to ensure that when people retire, we have somebody sitting on the bench to take over those roles. We do have tenure within our organization, so people are assigned to specialty units. They're in there for a period of time. Then, as awful as it sounds, they're recycled to give somebody else an opportunity. And the philosophy behind that is what they've learned in those specific roles, whether it's guns and gangs, tactical support, K9, forensic identification. When they leave those units, they're bringing that expertise and that knowledge to the platoon to share with 20 others, and then we give somebody else an opportunity. So tenure and the transfer within the organization to build succession, build that transfer of knowledge has been embedded for quite some time. So we are looking at that. We report to the board regularly on anticipated retirements. We're constantly looking at that. It's very personal, obviously, retirements. We can predict when people are eligible, but it's hard to predict when somebody's going to be handing that paper in. But we are aware of where people are on in the spectrum, so we do know when we can anticipate retirements. But it's month to month, year to year, it is challenging. But we have all that data, and like I said, we do update the board on kind of the picture of the organization and what the future looks like.
Very good. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Councillor Wu.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Henry, and thank you, Chief, for the presentation. Just getting back to the slide deck, and there's information about firearms and incidents. It seems to be now, and Councillor Crawford brought it up about the unfortunate incident that happened in the city in Toronto, and the use of knives seems to be a growing trend. And are we tracking that? Now, again, probably difficult if I'm walking around with a pocket knife or my Swiss Army knife, but the knives nowadays, you can go anywhere from the hunting knives that you see, from Canadian Tire to machetes. Are we tracking those?
Yeah. So when there's an individual arrested, or we have reports with respect to weapons of any sort, whether it's a knife or, a bat or a crowbar, we do track that. So we have that information. I don't have it before me. Anecdotally, there seems to be an increasing trend with individuals arming themselves with knives and walking around our communities with knives, but it's not illegal to have a pocket knife in your pocket. When you take it out and use it as a weapon, that's that threshold where it changes. So it's really hard to track how many knives are out in our community. It's that distinction of when somebody takes it out to use it for inappropriate reasons.
Right. And it has been discussed about the authorized staff per 100,000 and the marvelous job that you do with 121 per 100,000. Let's say within the GTA and our surrounding partners, whether it be the city of Toronto or York or Peel or Halton, what would their average be about, would you say?
I do have the stats not before me. I do know I think Halton is below us, so they have less officers per 100,000, but we are in the bottom, I'd say bottom third to our comparator services with respect to that. But certainly that data is available, I just don't have it. And if I gave you a specific ranking, I would be just guessing.
Right. Yeah, would you say over the course of time and where we're trying to maybe tighten our belt, and staffing was one of the areas that we probably, I'll use the term neglected. Are we trying now to catch up?
And I don't think it was. I think it should be an expectation of not only policing but every agency to look internally to see how we could do things differently. Just throwing staffing at anything the result is not. So I think over the past decade we've been challenged, and rightly so, to find efficiencies. I think that was for the betterment of this organization, and we have found efficiencies. I think it's clear through that data that our officer per 100,000 has dropped, but we're maintaining our high rankings in terms of weighted clearance rates, crime severity. We've kept that, so we have been efficient. But I really believe, as your current chief, that we are at that threshold where we have to start paying attention, because our ranking will slide. We will, and we can see it with the stats, and I talked about it a little bit earlier. And it's concerning to me that it's taking longer for us to get to emergency calls. That's an indication that our officers are busy. It's taking longer. Our call volume is going up. The complexity of crimes is going up. So I don't think it was a bad thing that our staffing wasn't. I don't think it was that we weren't paying attention to it. But I think the previous chiefs were asked to look internally, and they did. And they did a great job at it. And I'm very proud of the work our services do in maintaining our level of service to our community. But again, from my perspective, I am concerned that we're not going to be able to maintain that quality of service if we don't start looking at staffing. And I don't say that lightly, because I recognize the importance of the tax dollar and the competing interests across this region that are needed. It's not just about policing. I know social services, healthcare, there's vying competition for the taxpayer's dollar. My job is not to tell you what I think you want to hear. My job is to tell you, and the board, from my perspective, I've been doing this 35 years, and I will operationalize the board's budget, whatever it is. But my job is to, if you're approaching a cliff, I think you want me to tap you on the shoulder and let you know you're approaching the cliff before you're stepping over it.
Well, thank you. And through the chair, and one last thing, and you did mention, and I wanted to acknowledge your 35 years of service, and thank you very much. And with this quarterly report, you may be back in March to do that. But over that 35 years from when you started, and the complexities, as you call it, of the job of policing, and it wasn't that, well, I shouldn't say it wasn't that long ago. It might be going back maybe 20 years when there was car thefts, carjackings, sex trafficking, and we'd always say, well, that was in the city. Well, Toronto is moving out this way, as you've seen over your 35 years, and as I mentioned, growing sex trafficking, carjacking, car thefts, cyber crimes. Now you could probably write a book on that. What you've seen over your 35 years. So, I just wanted to thank you very much, Chief, for your dedicated service, for your leadership, and we've been in very good hands, and I'm pretty sure the next chief that comes on board has big shoes to fill.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
It means a lot. Thank you.
Okay, next, Mayor Roy.
Thank you very kindly, Mr. Chair. To you, Chief, thank you, and to all the members of the board and to the service for all the work you do. I'm going to make this quick and simple. I've had a great opportunity of having met already with Deputy Chief Mariano, and also with our inspector who will be retiring. In the conversation just about the car thefts, I understand that there's a symposium that will be coming up in the new year by Peel Region Is that something that, as elected officials, that you would encourage us to be participants within? Are you aware of it?
I don't know. Are your elected officials invited to that? Yes. So I believe mayors and regional chair will be, but yes, it's I think that's in March that meeting is planned for.
Yeah. And lastly, it's not that it's a new issue, but as we are entering into our Christmas season, that the increase of shoplifting has become quite a conversation, not just with a lot of our small businesses. Is there anything that we can share through our BIAs and Chamber of Commerce that can help? I know that the ability for the police force to be able to respond in such situations is probably on a lower level, but is there any type of communication taking place to our local businesses?
I don't know that we've sent out any corporate comms about shoplifting. Yeah, we can look at doing that. Unfortunately, I think it's the more eyes you have on your customers, but that costs money, hiring, whether it's security or additional staffing to prevent it. I think it's about the layout. We can have officers come in, but it's about the layout of the store. If you have your counter here and you have all clothes or merchandise in front of you and you can't see beyond, it's just, I think part of it is the setup too. But certainly we can work with business owners and come out and have a look to see how the store is set up. But the reality is, if it needs changes, it's going to cost money, or it's going to cost people to be those eyes to prevent shoplifting. It's about setting up an environment that is less appealing for those thefts to occur.
Okay, and thank you for that. And I know that as we're transitioning with Inspector Moot, that we have had conversation about a community meeting in the early year, but also looking at potential business summit with our downtown businesses. So that may be a time that we can partake with that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Chubb.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and through you to the Chief. Thanks for the presentation, Chief, and thank you to the whole team for what you do. Just a couple questions. Most of them has been answered. Regarding staffing and resources, right now, if I have this right, we're at about 121 officers per 100,000 people, and looking to increase with the budget to about 127 per 100,000. Is that right? Okay. With that said, just my simple math here, and it is very simple. Brock would be allocated about 16 to 18 officers. Port Perry, Scugog probably almost double that. So that's a ton of officers, which I don't believe we have now. Did I hear you correctly that staffing will be increased in the north? Or am I putting words in your mouth there?
Yeah, I haven't done that analysis yet. Like I said, Deputy Mariano, when we have that data, that staffing analysis, I think we generally wait until our budget is approved and we know what our staffing allocation is, and then we start looking at the deployment strategies of where the most needs are. So there are pressure points across. I know Whitby and Oshawa are our two busiest divisions in terms of workload, but we also look at the east. So am I going to commit to officers going to the north? No, but equally, I won't commit resources going to any municipality because, one, we need to know how many we're getting and then determine where the biggest pressure points are and allocate those resources accordingly.
Okay, thanks for that, Chief. And is there any way of coming up, if we were going to approve the whole budget at 6.09%, is there any way of seeing something beforehand of what that could look like so we could substantiate that to all our residents throughout the region?
Yeah, absolutely. And most of that work has been done in terms of the allocation of staffing. Obviously, maybe Joe, as Deputy Mariano, has done that work. But yeah, we can, if our budget is approved in terms of allocating all those staffing positions. I know Deputy Mariano and Deputy Bircham and CAO have an idea of where those positions are going to be allocated, and certainly that'd be easy to do.
Okay, that'd be great to see that. Thanks very much. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chief, good to see you and your team. Just a couple of questions on the staffing, because I don't know, from what I hear from some of the questions, there may be some confusion. The staffing number per 100,000 is not frontline officers. That's all your sworn officers, correct? And some of them are in investigative units, traffic units, and things like that.
Correct.
And just to be clear, when you allocate staff, when you get new staff, or when you move staff around, it's done by the statistics of where the most need is, not, we have 175,000 people in Oshawa, so we're not getting 250, whatever that works out to at 127 officers because we have 175,000 people. Correct? It's based on the need, and as you said, right now, unfortunately, Oshawa and Whitby seem to have the most calls for service. Right? Just some points of clarity. Thanks, Chief, and maybe we'll see you before your retirement. If not, I know I will. And take care. Have a good Christmas.
Thank you. So, Chief, that exhausts the speaker's box, but I have a couple quick questions for you. As Durham Region is a microcosm of this country, and the challenges that we're having, they're no different than the challenges of other cities across Canada. With the data that you collect and that is fed up to the Chiefs of Police of Ontario, does that data ever get to the Solicitor General or the Minister of Public Safety, both the provincial and federal levels of government?
I don't believe the data that we have is specifically sent to them. Through the Association of Chiefs of Police, those letters are sent that are concerning. I know our board has sent letters with respect to gun violence, mental health concerns, and we provided specific data. I know that recently Niagara Regional Police Service has supported our board's letter, joint letter with me to our provincial elected officials with respect to concerns, and they've adopted their concerns similar to ours about gun violence and mental health concerns. So that data is shared with them, but regularly supporting that data, moving it on and up. And I guess the question is, what data is it? Because we have data from barking dogs to gun violence. So what, and I'm not being patronized, but what is the data we want to get to the federal government? Because we have data for everything, and it's about giving them the most pressing information rather than inundating them with significant data.
So I'll just use the data that you produced today in cooperation with the City of Toronto, recognizing that we have a problem. And that data needs to get to some place so where they can recognize that there's a problem and they put a plan in place, because your officers and the great work they do simply enforce laws. They don't make laws. And I'm wondering if the other levels of government are falling behind with the issues of society in making decisions around laws that need to change. I know you don't, it might put you on the spot as a question, but
no, as the Association of Chiefs of Police, it's a united voice, and we do send our concerns. And I know Nesh from Peel, our current president, he meets with elected officials at the provincial level regularly about policing concerns, our policing concerns. So specifically what those conversations are, I'm not aware of in terms of the minute level. I have an overall picture, and yeah, it's gun violence, it's WSIB concerns about the impact on policing that is having on our resources not coming to work. It's about gun violence, mental health, time spent in hospital. So there's those pressing issues that we talk about that our president is talking to our elected officials about.
Chief, I commend your team and the other police departments throughout the province on your ability to get messaging out to the public at our level, at the municipal level. But I have never seen any messaging coming from the federal government related to what happens if you commit a crime with a weapon in this country. Am I wrong? Have you ever seen anything?
Not overly, no. It doesn't seem to be deliberate.
So we deliver lots of messages about public safety, but isn't it time that maybe, and this, you don't have to answer this, but isn't it time that the federal government put out messaging to the people of this country that's saying these are the effects and what will happen if you sell drugs or you create a crime with a weapon? The laws are in place, but the information that gets to the public doesn't really seem to be getting to the public.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to direct our federal government, and I know you didn't ask me to. Any communication from any entity in terms of concerns, consequences, and those pieces, I think is beneficial, whether it's from a police service, whether it's from municipal government, federal or provincial government. I think any messaging about community concerns and national concerns is good.
Well, and not to put any members of council on the spot, but we do have opportunities to meet with our MPs and MPPs. Maybe we can help you with that challenge. Maybe. Chief, that exhausts the speaker box. From me to you, for your years of service, you are the only officer who has ever started as a cadet and finished as a chief, and your career has been something of amazing to watch. To all of your team, to your officers and civilian staff, on behalf of this council, we wish you all a happy and safe holiday and a happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Members of council, I'd like to get through the next item 6 and item 7, and then we will take a break. So I will now move to item 6.1. This is the public meeting regarding passing of a bylaw re the 2023 water sewer user rates and other related fees and charges. At this point, I'd like to state that the public has now been given notice via newspaper and regional website and social media that the Regional Council today is intending to review and adopt and amend the 2023 water supply system and sanitary sewer system business plans and budgets, including related fees, charges, and the 2023 water supply and sanitary sewer user rates. Is there any member of the public wishing to appear on this matter? We have none in the council chambers, Mr. Clerk. Do we have anyone online? For the second time, is there any member of the public at this meeting wishing to appear on this matter? Mr. Clerk? Hearing none and seeing none. Third and final time. Is there any member of the public at this meeting wishing to appear on the matter? Hearing and seeing none. Mr. Clerk, we will now continue with our council agenda. Members of council, report item 7.1, item 6 of the report, number 7 of the Finance Administration Committee, read the recommended 2023 water, sanitary, and sewer rates. Can I get a mover and a seconder to get this on the floor? Moved by Councillor Lee, seconded by Councillor Crawford. The item is now on the floor. Comments or questions? Councillor Neal.
Recorded vote.
Record a vote on this item. Okay, at the appropriate time. Members of council, I'm looking, Mr. Clerk, is there anyone online wishing to speak? So seeing none, recorded vote has been called by Councillor Neal. I will call that vote now.
Thank you, members. The voting will now open. Our remaining vote is Councillor Wu, who is not present. Voting will now close.
That's 21 affirmative, 5 against. That carries. Members of council, I think it's now 11:08. I think maybe it'd be appropriate for a 15-minute break. Moved by Councillor Mayor Pietri, seconded by Councillor Leahy on a 15-minute recess. All those in favor? In opposition? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, we are in recess for 15 minutes. Thank you. Members of council, please take your seats. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The roll call will begin shortly. I just wish to announce for members participating electronically, it is not capturing your roll call votes specifically. Recorded votes are working properly. Please note your presence via microphone for electronic members.
Alex, this is Linda.
Thank you.
Walter Schumer, I am present.
Thank you.
Mayor Carter, in attendance.
Thank you.
Councillor Yamada in attendance.
Thank you. Roll call for members in person will now begin.
Okay. Thank you. Members of council, when we left, we were just at the communications tab. Item 8.1, it's a memorandum, Region of Durham Long-Term Care Committee of Management appointment. Could I get a mover and a seconder for receive for information? Moved by Councillor Brenner, seconded by Mayor Collier. Item is now on the floor. Seeing no hands, just online, Mr. Clerk? Okay, then we'll call the vote then. All those in, oh, sorry, Mayor Foster. It'll come on. Just,
Took my hand away.
there you go.
They had a little electric shock.
You can just pull it down now.
A little shock, electric shock. In that, Mr. Chair, I wonder if the clerk, I know an email came regarding the police checks and what we needed to do. If you would resend that, please, because I read it and then completely ignored it, along with, from what I gathered, several of my colleagues. Thank you.
So, Mr. Clerk, this direction, please resend that. Thank you. We'll now call the vote on the, pardon, Councillor Chapman? No? We're good? Okay, Councillor Chapman, we're on communications, item 8.1, the memorandum of Region of Durham Long-Term Care Home Committee Management appointment. Question? There you go.
Maybe Mayor Foster asked it. It says police checks in the form. Do we have to do a police check as well? Because the form that I read said just the declaration.
Mr. Clerk, please.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the requirement under the new Long-Term Care Act is for both the declaration and a police record check.
Okay, how old can the police check be?
Sorry?
How old can the police check be? I tell you why. I get one every other year for other things I'm doing, and it's just starting to become a pain to get police checks all the time. Yeah.
The time frame is specified in the memo that was distributed. I believe it is within 6 months of taking office.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing no other hands, we'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That carries. Item 8.2, memorandum, the expropriation of lands required for the proposal of a bus rapid transit project on Highway 2 in the city of Pickering and the town of Ajax. Can I get a motion to adopt the recommendations contained in CC 121? Moved by Councillor Lee, seconded by Councillor Leahy. The item is now on the floor. Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Okay. Member committee reports and related notices of motion of members of council. If you can turn to page. Oh, sorry. I don't have 8.3. Thank you. Members of council, there is one more additional memorandum, 8.3, Greenbelt removals report number 2022 P31 Durham Region's response to provincial consultation and proposed amendment. The recommendation is received for information. Moved by Mayor Foster, seconded by Councillor Marion Pietri. The item is now on the floor. Thank you. Seeing no hands, Mr. Clerk. Seeing nothing in the chat box. Okay, sorry. Thank you, Mayor Collier.
Actually, I thought we were on committee. I wanted to pull item 1 of finance. Sure.
Oh, okay, thank you. Then in that case, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? None, that carries. 1 second, members of council. Thank you. Members of council, we will start with finance. You'll find that on page 44. Moved by Mayor Ash, seconded by Councillor Leahy, that items contained in the recommendations contained in items 1 to 5 of report number 7 of the Committee of Finance be adopted. Polls. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay. For polls, Mayor Collier.
Item 1, please, Chair.
Okay. Councillor Yamada.
I wanted to pull procedural bylaw 2022-A-23, number 1.
Okay, it's been pulled already. Next. That's it. Okay, so Councillor Neal.
Item 6 has already been dealt with out of the report 7 finance.
Yes, it has.
Item 6 been dealt with.
Yes, it has.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any other polls? Hearing none, we'll call the vote on the remainder. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Mayor Collier on item 1.
Thank you, Chair. I wish to move an amendment. The amendment reads, the clerk is in receipt. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Anderson, that the amendment to the proposed procedure bylaw recommended by the F&A committee to require a reconsideration vote within 12 months of the decision of council be deleted. And I wish to speak to it, please, Chair.
Okay, you've got a mover and a seconder. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. This stems from, and I believe, and I'll ask the clerk to confirm this, that most municipalities already follow this procedure, that the 12-month reconsideration period is something that is reset at the start of a council term. The reason why this is done at most of our municipalities, if not all, and I'll ask for correction on that, is it unties the hands of a new council moving forward into a next term. Often there's decisions made in certain terms that sometimes result in councillors being changed. That's the way we all work. And by having a 12-month window, in this case, I'll bring up a couple of examples, ties our hands for the next 5 months before we can do anything in relation to Bill 23 and the opening up and taking lanes out of the Greenbelt, for example. We made a decision here at this council through the Municipal Comprehensive Review in the past term based on a set of criteria. And those have substantially changed now, including delegating under Bill 23, currently effective January 1st, taking a lot of the decision-making process away from our planning department and delegate it to lower tiers. We need to look at some of these things, and we need to examine some of these things that we're currently restricted in doing if we have to wait for the 12-month period to lapse before May 29th, which is when council made the last decision on this. That's just a current example. I'll use another example in 2010, which was the Energy from Waste facility. In 2010, there was 16 new members of council because that was fairly contentious and the residents spoke. Again, limited by that 12-month period. So I find this is just a housekeeping item. There's a reason why the clerk brought this forward, because my understanding is recognized that this is more standard practice across the region at our local tier municipalities and brings us in line. And I will ask if you could clarify that, Mr. Clerk, if possible, if I'm incorrect in that. I don't want to speak for you.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. Reconsideration is probably one of the more complex procedural rules that municipal councils deal with, and there is a wide range of practices across municipalities, both in Durham and Ontario. What I can say is that there are several in Durham that have either a one-year requirement with an additional proviso that once a term ends, that is also eliminated. So it could be within 1 year during the term, or when the term rolls over, the reconsideration requirement is dropped. There are others who have, similar to what is proposed in this bylaw, where reconsideration is within the term of council, and then when a new term begins, it is dropped. There are others still who have a 1 year and no drop between terms of council, which is what the region currently has. I will not say that there's a consistent approach within Durham or within the province, but what we have recommended are a set of rules around reconsideration that we believe are logical and appropriate, such that decisions within the term of council should require reconsideration and a 2/3 vote to be opened again during the term, and after a new term begins, that reconsideration requirement be removed so that a new council with a new mandate may consider decisions that were previously made on a simple majority.
Thank you for that clarification. And I'll just add one last thing. I would like, as a member of the Planning Committee, to bring forward a resolution to staff to look at these changes under Bill 23 and the opening up of sections of the Greenbelt, of which, of the 7,400 acres that have been opened up, 4,000 are in Durham. And that's significant, and that may have significant impact on some decisions we've already made as a council last term. My understanding won't be able to bring this direction based on some past decisions without this change. So to me, this is housekeeping. I'd ask for your support and a recorded vote, please, Chair.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, a recorded vote on the item or on the amendment? On the amendment. Councilor Mayor Ash.
I'm unclear of what just happened because the clerk just suggested that there is no requirement for reconsideration because of a new term. Is that correct? And my friend the mayor wants to do an amendment so he can bring in reconsideration because of the new term. So my understanding at committee was the new term kind of wiped the slate clean, and I thought I just heard you say that, and that's not what the mayor said. So I just want some clarity before we vote.
I understand, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So the proposal that was put forward by staff at the Finance and Administration Committee is exactly what we just described, that reconsideration would be required during the term of council, and at the beginning of a new term would no longer be required for decisions of a prior term. At the F&A Committee, that was amended by committee members to restore the 12-month limitation that is under our current procedures. The amendment that's on the floor right now is to delete the amendment that was adopted by F&A at its meeting last week.
Okay. All right. Okay. Seeing no hands. I'm sorry. My computer monitor is on the bottom of the desk, and my desk is not quite big enough for all the paperwork that goes to this meeting. So, on the amendment, first in speaker's box is Mayor Foster.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mayor Collier gave me a soapbox to stand on. I'm going to stand on that because there are a lot of members of council that did not exist at the time when the EFW was decided. I have no problems with this amendment, but truth be told, the lack of ability of regional council to reconsider citing the EFW in Clarington was not an issue. The number of hands that went up in this room who did not want to have to deal with waste in their communities was the issue. So the reconsideration was not going to, unfortunately for Clarington, was not going to change that. While I've got the floor, and if you'll allow me, a smidge
It is Christmas.
of leeway, it is important that each member of this council understands how controversial and how disruptive that decision was and continues to be in Clarington. And as we move forward with the discussions around waste, I would hope that you would think about the disruption that we've dealt with for many number of years. Mr. Chair, for the leeway, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Leahy.
Thank you, Chair. Through you. So I guess the challenge I had, the whole reason why we made the adjustment at committee was to not have us bound by the restrictions of an entire term of the council. So if we make a decision today, it can't be revisited until the following term of council without a 2/3 vote. So the whole point was to, if new information comes to light, like we reconsidered our approach just the last year around. I can't remember what it was. Not the water rates, but how we implemented that the whole water insurance agreement. So new information came to light. We reconsidered. We changed it. That option's on the thing. So I think there's also value in having a 12-month restriction there where you need 2/3, so that when you're making a decision, someone doesn't come and bring a motion the following meeting because they're disappointed with the decision. At least 12 months of cooling period goes past. That's how we do it. In Whitby, it seems a reasonable approach, and that's why, to me, it was really important to have a 12-month consideration. And at this point, a 12-month from when the Envision Durham decision was made, January versus March, like 90 days to change our procedural bylaw for one piece, to me, just doesn't seem to be worth it. I still see there's a lot of value in having a 12-month limit on the restriction, and then it's gone, and then you can reconsider it, and new information can come to light, and we can make decisions. So I strongly do not support this amendment, and I recommend supporting the recommendation from committee. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, the speaker's box is empty, but online, do we have anybody wishing to speak? Okay. So members of council, I will call the vote on the amendment. It is a recorded vote. Did you want to ask before we do the recorded vote, did you want to check with the councillors that are online, or they'll be able to, okay.
Thank you. The recorded vote on the amendment will begin now. Councillor Wu. No. Okay, Councillor Wu. There we go. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So the amendment loses.
Display the results for a second here.
Okay, Mr. Pardon? Okay. And it should be on your screens. Okay. All right. Main item is before you. Okay. Sorry, I don't actually have the same screen that isn't before you. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, do we have the? Well, okay, we're going to go to Councillor Wu first.
Now, are we speaking now to the motion that's before us?
Yes.
Okay. Same question I asked FNA. The preamble that was on can't find it. Okay, the preamble to that particular motion is not written in there, but does that still, through you, Chair Henry, to the clerk. Sorry. Gotta find it. Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, it's in the report. No, further down. Yeah, no, I had it highlighted. No, that's the. Okay, sorry, my apologies. To the procedural bylaw through you to the clerk, there was a preamble to that, which is not shown here. And I think that finance administration, you said that would be included.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just looking for some clarification. Is this on reconsideration rules as well?
No, I had it up on my screen. Sorry about that. And I'm holding everybody up. My apologies.
So, Councillor Wu.
Yeah.
To make things easier, and because we have someone else in the speaker's box, I can come back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Yamada.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am moving forward with two amendments that I've sent to the clerk. The first amendment would read that delegation extensions be permitted by a simple majority for 2 minutes. The second one is members of the public who wish to address council be permitted to delegate at council if they delegate at committee first. And I speak to the. I'd like to speak to these, Mr. Chair. In this,
Councillor, before you go anywhere, you need a second. Seconded by Councillor Marin Pietri. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. And so with Amendment 1, I feel that when members of the public come to speak on an issue, and members of the public don't always come to speak on an issue, there's something happening in their community, there's a report coming forward, they are passionate about that issue. 5 minutes isn't a lot of time to be given to be able to speak. So to have that simple majority for an added 2 minutes is not a lot of time. I do understand that there are some folks that come back time and time and time again, but the majority of people who come to speak in front of council, may not have had, may have been their first time speaking in front of council. May be a little unsure of what they're going to say. They may be a little intimidated. To give them that added time to speak on issues that are important to them, or that one issue that is important to them, I think is important. And so that's that's how I feel about the first one. The second one, I feel that, when our reports come out, if it's a Tuesday morning for planning and economic development, if it's a Wednesday for works, these reports are coming out on the Friday. Members of council have an opportunity to go through them throughout the weekend and then inform residents if there's an issue that they feel that they should be speaking to. You know, a lot can happen between that first week of council of committees and that last week of the month for council. So to be able to have the resident be able to speak twice, I think is fair, especially when not a lot of members or of the community come forward to speak on an issue.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the seconder. Did the seconder wish to comment on this? No, thank you. Then we'll go to Mayor Ash.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm opposed to the amendments. There was extensive debate at committee in regards to this item. These two amendments were defeated at committee, and I think with good reason. Although Councillor Yamada makes a compelling argument about new people coming and perhaps not knowing the process, the reality is we have some people that come time and time again who know the rules and don't respect the rules and always ask for an extension. So this particular amendment, an extension is still available through our rules, but it's by a 2/3 majority, and it doesn't have to be limited to 2 minutes. And there's also some discretion given to the chair. So I don't think we necessarily have to do this. If there is a new person that's needing more time, there is a mechanism to give them time. I think this is to curb abuse of our process. In regards to the issues of people double dipping in regards to committee and then council, the committee talked about this as well, and council should be aware that if the item was not on committee, a delegate would be allowed to come to council directly. But if they come to committee, they would not be allowed to come to council again. Again, it's often the same people that are delegating repeatedly to committee and committee of the whole, and sometimes then to council. So this is to make our committee and our council more efficient. I don't think it's anti-democratic, although I'm not suggesting Councillor Yamada use those terms, so I'm not want to put words in his mouth. So there was a fulsome debate at committee, and the recommendation of the clerk was maintained, and I urge people to vote against these amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Collier.
Thank you, Chair, and I won't repeat what Mayor Ashton's comments. I do absolutely agree. This is an abuse system. This is one where the same people know the rules and don't respect them, and we do still have the option of 2/3. I'll just add to amendment number 2. There's never been a time where council has more access and non-committee members have more access to the information that is done at the committee level. Everything is online, everything is time-stamped, everything is available. You can go back and watch these delegations should you wish to at any time, and they are there forever. The internet never forgets. So this isn't a matter of not getting information. This is a matter of streamlining our policies and procedures to be more efficient and stop the abuse by some. I will not be supporting. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Mayor Roy?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Are you requiring us to stand during council as well?
No.
Okay, not under new policy, but the policy is only being accepted today. Just with relation to the amendment that's been brought forward, while we might be penalizing due to a minority that is having an impact on these council proceedings, I think we need to also, while we can have 2/3 to allow for individuals to speak, and I think in practice we have traditionally allowed for people to speak, I think it's addressing the habit in a manner that potentially, as chairs of committees, that we need to be addressing it. I respect what Councillor Yamada is bringing forward, and I will be supporting his amendments today.
Thank you. Mayor Foster.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I wasn't going to speak because my good colleagues, Mayor Ash and Mayor Collier, I think covered that. So at the will, as been brought up, at the will of committee, or at the will of council, the ability to extend exists. The ability always exists for members of committee or council to ask questions and seek further information, which is akin to extending a delegation. And all of us have watched chairs, and as chair, there is a degree of latitude where if you've got somebody who is nervous or wants to speak a bit more, we all know that some delegations, there is a bit of latitude. I'll share a story, and this struck me several years ago. We had an individual in Clarington who, within the prescribed times, had to explain an incredibly complicated mathematical formula. And he told us that it took him a great deal of time to do his presentation, bring a complex idea to council within the rules. And he followed those rules because they were the rules. That same evening, we had delegates who didn't make any effort whatsoever to follow the rules. And we do end up with two classes of citizens almost, where people will abuse the rules. They know they can abuse the rules. And other people come with the sense that there are rules in place for everyone, and we should all follow them. So I will not support the amendments that are in front of us. I think there's enough latitude given already to allow people to fully address the issues at the will of this body.
Thank you. Councillor McDougall.
Thank you, Chair. With regards to item number 2 on this, it was discussed heavily at committee, and the ability exists for the committee to recommend that the delegation be made at council as well. So the ability to delegate at council does exist. If it's felt from committee that the item is important and that council should hear it, then the recommendation will be made by committee that they should delegate to council. That was our discussion. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Jubb.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And through you, just a question, are we able to divide these two, number 1 and 2, and vote separately?
Yeah.
Can I request that?
Yeah. Divisions. You'll need a second or two for the division. Councillor Lee's hand was up, so those two items have been divided.
Thank you.
Well, on division, we'll have to call the vote. So all those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, so Councillor Jubb, do you have another question?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Leahy?
Thank you, Chair. So no, I appreciate the approach. Yeah, they were spoken exhaustively at committee, and I'm of two minds because I understand the reasons for it. I understand the reasons against it. I'm just a little bit more partial to the first one of just having that there for a 2-minute extension, just so that it's written in the rules. Recognize we always, as the council, always have the committee to throw away our rules at any time. So I know the 230 exists all the time, but the point is to have a little bit of guidelines and guardrails to try and at least keep the extensions to around 2 minutes. So I see some value in that. And then even if someone has an extremely complex mathematical formula, they know that they've got to try really hard to do it in 5. And if they need the extra 2 minutes, at least it's there. And that's not creating an explanation for 20 minutes. On item 2, I understand. I see the two minds. I understand most other regional councillors don't let people address at council. I know a lot of our lower tier municipalities do, and some don't. So I know it's a mixed bag, but sometimes there is some value. And my other question was follow-up. Maybe it's just to the clerk. I know it was mentioned at committee that we're able to, as if committee wants to ask the delegation to speak at council, it's within their purview. But is that written anywhere, or is that just a general piece of knowledge we're all supposed to know?
Mr. Clerk?
Through you, Mr. Chair, it would be a referral from the committee up to council. So it would be more of a general knowledge piece. It's not written specifically that committee can refer a delegation. Committee can refer any matter before it up to council, including delegations.
Okay, so is there any harm in putting that in writing as part of the rule, and then maybe that's a compromise there so that we can at least have the opportunity for people to go, and it's written so it's clear. It's not like if a member of the public reads a rule and wants to do that, they would have to know that it's generally accepted as a committee could recommend a delegate to go from committee to council. And we might all know that, but anyone reading our rules wouldn't know that because it doesn't exist. Is there any harm in putting that in pen to paper?
Mr. Clerk?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that is covered to an extent under 17.2B of the revised procedures. It doesn't speak specifically to delegations, but it does refer to the fact that the standing committee can refer any matter under its jurisdiction.
Okay, but is there any harm in adding matter and or delegation? Could we make that minor amendment?
So, Mr. Clerk, would you take that as direction?
Yes.
Okay, because then that's fair, and then that might address the second piece and address all the concerns raised.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, that would be a clarification to the existing rules. It's not a modification.
Okay, excellent. Okay, appreciate that. Thank you.
Next in the speaker's box is Councillor Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple points on the first one there. If you include that into the procedural bylaw, it becomes an expectation sometimes of the delegates. Oh, so if I'm over the 5 minutes, I'm going to get another 2 minutes. So I'll plan for a 7-minute, presentation. The other way, they don't know whether they're going to get it. They would be more inclined, I believe, to stick to the timing that's there because they'd have to get far more members of council to agree to allow them to continue. And I see that it doesn't have a time. So technically, waive the rules to allow another 5 minutes, I would assume, right? If it is a complicated mathematical or whatever type formula. My experience here is also that there have been very few people under the 2/3 rule that have been turned down for an extension of an important subject. And especially first-time presenters that are nervous, and that council sees that when they're up there. The second point is it's a 2 kicks at the cat, right? So I'll go to committee and then I'll go to council as opposed to the committee dealing with the matter and deciding on a matter that will then be recommended to council. And as it was said, if they want the delegation to go to council before, and we've done that many a times at other committees where we feel something is very important that all of council should hear it sort of from the horse's mouth, so to speak, that we can do that. The other thing is the other changes in here is the full communications. So communications that come in after a committee meeting and perhaps a delegation that's been made, and then that person who made the delegation saw what the committee's recommendation was, they can send a piece of communications correspondence, and that whole correspondence goes to all members of council. So they get their say, but it's something that we can read over 2 or 3 days from when the matter comes up to listening to their new points in some cases right on the spot and trying to make another decision. So I wouldn't be supporting either one of these. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Yamada?
Recorded vote on both.
Okay, recorded vote on both items. Mr. Clerk, I'll call for the votes now. On item 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Recorded vote on item 1 will begin now. Councillor Leahy. Thank you. Just so members are aware, it's not registering a vote, so it's going to show as a no for Councillor Leahy, but we will count it as a yes.
Okay.
So hang on. I'm gonna.
Mr. Clerk, the vote's closed.
That is interesting. Okay, so that fails.
Okay, so item 1 of the amendment failed. Item number 2, we'll call the recorded vote now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Voting on item 2 will begin now.
So item 2 also fails. Back to you, Councillor Wu.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Henry. And as I had mentioned about the motion that was before us or is before us, and I did mention at the Finance Administration Committee. Now, this is found on report 2022-A-23, page 8 of 12. It would be under R, motions, and number 3, the Roman numeral 3. So there's the preamble. Additionally, motions to reconsider may be introduced. Through you to the clerk, would that be added or is that stricken?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's still included in this procedure bylaw.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're now on the main item, Councillor Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to bring to the clerk's attention and points of clarification. If you look on page 5 of 40, point of privilege has a nice definition under the definitions. And if you turn to page, let me find it, sorry, 68 or 66, no. Anyway, wherever it is, it doesn't have the same meaning when you actually stand up to call for a point of order, or point of privilege. Let me just find the page. On page 58. Page 58 says, where a member considers that their integrity of council as a whole has been impugned, they may not without notice rise to without the consent of the chair, purpose of raising a point of privilege, and the following procedure shall be filed. The detailed definition says, means a concern raised regarding the health, safety, rights, and or integrity of a member, the council, a committee, or anyone present at the meeting. So when you're doing your, not changing things, but making it more understandable, can that be done?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we can ensure that the language in section 14.2A mirrors the definition section so that it's broader.
Perfect, thank you. Because I think it's important, the words that are in the definition, as opposed to what's in the actual meaning, just says that if a member of council or the council as a whole, his integrity is challenged. It says nothing of staff or our audience or a committee. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Clerk, that exhausts the speakers. So there are no amendments on this motion. I will call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, none online, that carries. Members of council will now move on to planning and economic development, moved by Chair Chapman, seconded by Councillor Pickles, that the recommendations contained in items 1 and 2, inclusive of report number 8 of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, be adopted. Polls. Mr. Clerk, none online. Seeing none in the room, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Oh, sorry. I apologize. Was that a poll? Okay, then I'll go call the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
In opposition? Hearing none, that carries. We'll have to have this. Mr. Clerk, Mayor Barton's not in the room, so we'll have to go to for the Works Committee. So moved by Councillor Miriam Pietri. I'm looking for a seconder, a member of the Works Committee, Councillor Mulcahy, that the recommendations contained in items 1 to 3, inclusive report number 8 of the Works Committee, be adopted. Okay, the items are now on the floor. Polls. Mr. Clerk, I see no polls and you see none online. Okay, then we'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Hearing none, that carries. Can you note the change in the mover and the seconder on the form, please? Now we're to Committee of the Whole report. Sorry, the Committee of the Whole report can be found on page 55. I'll need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Mulcahy, seconded by Councillor Anderson. that the recommendations contained in item 1 to 6, inclusive of report number 8 of the Committee of the Whole, be adopted. Polls. Councillor Neal.
Number 5 for recorded vote, please.
Number 5 for recorded vote. Saw another hand go up. Mayor Foster. Sure. Seeks a second.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So on number 5, I do have a couple of questions.
Okay, no problem. Are there any other polls? Seeing none, we'll call the vote on the remainder. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that carries. So on item 5, it was reported for a recorded vote. I will go to Councillor Neal. Did you want to speak to it? Okay, thank you. Mayor Foster.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we did have an opportunity in Clarington to speak with MPP McCarthy, who indicates that the likelihood of change, despite discussion and dialogue, is very limited. However, there are opportunities to look at things like, I'm calling them, for lack of a better word, administrative penalties for developers who are insisting on getting their projects, I'm going to say fast-tracked, but have no expectation of getting shovels in the ground. The province could help us with legislation. Clarington is very likely to come forward with something to take undue burden off of our staff. There could be changes to the Development Charges Act that would be helpful. But I wonder, and perhaps through you, Mr. Chair, to the CAO, if there is value in having discussion with the lower tier municipalities to come up with what I'll call a wish list. So we have 3 items. I can't recall what the third was. 3 items that would be actionable items that the province could undertake to help mitigate some of the impacts of 23, and yet encourage what the province is trying to do. So rather than trying to fight the province, to come up with some recommendations and some desired actions that we can present perhaps as a whole.
So, Mayor Foster, I can tell you that our CAO is working with the CAOs of the lower tier municipalities, but I'll let our CEO comment.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, we actually have a meeting scheduled, and we've retained our own facilitator. I believe it's the 2nd or 3rd week in January. As a priority, the facilitator will be talking to each of the local CAOs individually to prepare for that meeting, and I think those discussions actually began yesterday. The idea is to come up with anything that between the upper and lower tiers that we can do to streamline processes, to get that on the table and start implementing it, but also to develop recommendations that we can bring forward to the provincial facilitator, who is expected to be assigned to the region in February.
I'm hearing you're on it already. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Neal.
Yeah, do we have a name of that facilitator as of yet? And when's that going to happen? Through you, Mr. Chair.
The provincial facilitator will likely be assigned in February, and we do not know who the candidates are.
Okay, I see no other members of council wishing to speak, and none online, Mr. Clerk. Should not hear so. A recorded vote was called by Councillor Neal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Voting will now open.
Okay, that carries. Okay, members of council, we'll now move on to, there are no notices of motion. There is no unfinished business. Under other business, if you can turn to page 12.1 in your agenda, this is regional council members' appointments to agencies, boards, and committees. Now, members of council will call for nominations, and we'll need a mover and a seconder. I'll ask for nominations to be closed, and then I will ask nominees if they wish to stand. But it is my understanding that the chairs may have had conversations with members of their committees. So, well, the first one is finance and administration. Mayor Ash, do you have some name that you would like to put forward? Actually, we're on item A, which is the 911 Management Board.
There we go. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Leahy that Councillor Garrod be appointed to the 911 Management Board.
Okay. So in that case, I guess, Mr. Clerk, I'll just ask that nominations be closed. Mayor Ash, would you move nominations to be closed?
Nominations be closed.
Has to be seconded by somebody on the Finance Committee, correct?
Be seconded by Vice Chair Mr. Leahy.
Okay.
Councillor Leahy.
Thank you. In that case, Councillor Garrod, are you willing to stand? And then in that case, congratulations. I'll call the vote, but congratulations. All those in favor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The second nomination for the Accessibility Advisory Committee, moved by myself and second by Councillor Leahy, that Councillor McDougall be appointed as a member of the Finance Committee.
Okay. Are there any others? Seeing none, Mayor Ash?
Move that nominations be closed.
On closing nominations, seconded by Councillor Leahy. All those in favor? In opposition? Hearing none. Councillor McDougall, you'll stand. Call the vote. All those in favor? Opposition? Congratulations. We'll move to the Business Advisory Center of Durham, Planning and Economic Development Committee, Chair Chapman.
Yeah, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Pickles, that Councillor Lee. Councillor Lee is not a member of Planning and Economic Development, but there are some changes coming there, and we felt it better that he maintain that position that he was on last term until those changes are all done, and then we can reconsider that appointment from somebody from this committee later.
Okay, Mr. Clerk. Okay, we see no problem with that.
Move that nominations closed, seconded by Councillor Pickles.
Thank you. Councillor Lee, you're willing to stand? Okay. On that note, we'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, congratulations. We'll move on to the Canadian National Exhibition, Planning and Economic Development.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Pickles, that Councillor Shahid.
Okay.
Move that nominations closed.
Seconded by the same seconder.
You got it.
Thank you.
We're a team.
Your team. All those in favor? Councillor Shahid, you are willing to stand? Okay. We'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, congratulations. Development Charge Complaint Committee is made up of the chairs of the subcommittees. Mr. Clerk, do we need to vote on this? Okay, so Councillor Chapman, could I ask you to move, and then Councillor Ash or Mayor Ash to second this? Item number E, would you move the recommendation, please?
Chair, be pleased to move that the Development Charges Complaint Committee be as recommended, and it's seconded by Mayor Ash. And we will move that the nominations close.
Same seconder?
Oh, yes.
And thank you. Nominations are closed. You have no option here, so I will just call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Item number F, Durham's Active Transportation Committee.
It's me again, Your Worship, or Mr. Chair. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Pickles, that Councillor Kerr be appointed to the Durham Active Transportation Committee with Councillor Shahid as the alternate. And both of us will move that nominations close.
All those in favor?
Aye.
In opposition? Hearing none, that carries. Councillor Kerr, you'll stand. Councillor Shahid as the alternate. Okay, then I'll call the vote. Excuse me. All those in favor?
Aye.
In opposition? Hearing none, that carries, and congratulations. The Durham Agricultural Advisory Committee. Oh, sorry, the Durham Advisory Committee on Homelessness. Mayor Roy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Dyes. Councillor Brennan.
Councillor Brennan.
And move to close nominations.
Same
second by Councillor.
Thank you. Nominations to be closed. In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Councillor Brennan?
Yeah.
You will. Then I will call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Hearing none, that carries. Congratulations. Durham Agricultural Advisory Committee, Chair Chapman.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Pickles, that we appoint Mayor Watton with Councillor Neal as the alternate. Move that nominations close.
Okay.
Seconded by Councillor Pickles.
Thank you. On nominations closing, all those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, Councillor Watton, or sorry, Mayor Watton, you'll stand. Councillor Neal as the alternate. Okay. Then we'll call the. We've called the vote. Call the vote. All those. All those in favor. In opposition. Seeing none, that carries. Durham Environment and Climate Advisory Committee, Chair Chapman.
Yeah, that's the A team again. Myself and Councillor Pickles moved that Councillor Shahid be appointed with Mayor Watton as the alternate, and our team will move the nominations close.
Okay, nominations. On the closing of nominations, we'll call the vote. All those in favor. In opposition. Hearing none, that carries. Councillor Shahid. Yes, and Mayor Watton as the alternate. Okay. All right, then we'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? That carries. Durham Local Immigration Partnership Council. I'll go to the chair. Mayor Roy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'll move and seconded by by Councillor Dyes that myself and the staff person Hector Alexander are representatives.
Okay, nominations to be closed. Same mover, same seconder.
Yes, please.
Okay. Mayor Roy, you'll stand.
Yes, please.
And Allison's not here, but I'm sure she will. The clerk says yes, or sorry, the CAO says yes. Then we'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? That carries. We'll move on to the Durham Region Anti-Racism Task Force. I'm looking for a regional council member and a regional council alternate. Councillor Shahid? You would like to do this?
Yes.
Okay, so members of council, I need
I'll move
someone
it,
to not
Mr.
move
Chair.
and second. Okay. Okay, then we'll before we close nominations. So we've got a mover in Mayor Roy and a seconder in Councillor Wu for Mayor Shahid. Mayor Collier, you have.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Lee.
Councillor Lee, and we will need a seconder. Seconded by Councillor Anderson. Are there any other nominations? Okay, I'm just going to have to ask the clerk. So, Mr. Clerk, next step, nominations should close, and then we'll have to pull members of council. We're going to do it one by one, Mr. Chair. Okay, sorry.
Is it against the rules of procedure for us to just put two members on that committee as opposed to just going to a vote? Because it's clear that both members would like to be there. So I'll move to amend that.
No, just please 1 second. So the questions to the clerk. So, members council, we're going to need just a couple minutes. The clerk's got to do some work. We can either take a recess or you stay in your chair. So, Mr. Clerk, just as well, so just I thank you. Just before I go to you, we've got Mr. Clerk, we've got 2 members of council, and one is an alternate. There's no stopping either member from going to each meeting. The challenge that we have would be the vote of the alternate. Would the alternate be the challenge of the vote? Because they're there ideally only in the event that the person isn't there, right?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that is correct. So I've got the Durham Region Anti-Racism Task Force terms of reference that was approved by Council here. In Section 6.5, it states that Regional Council shall appoint a representative and an alternate. So there is not capacity unless these terms of reference are changed to appoint 2 members directly.
Okay. So I think I'm going to accept Councillor Chapman. I think I'd like to move this to the end to give it some more thought.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're referring this to the end of the meeting. And is everybody aware of what we're doing? Okay, so the referral, got Councillor Miriam Pietri as the seconder. Members of Council, on referring this to the end of the meeting, so we're referring item K. Okay, all those in favor of the referral? In opposition? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, can you give some thought over the next few minutes on how we manage this? We may have to take a short recess before we bring this back. So if you need the recess, don't be afraid to ask for it. Durham Region Child and Youth Advocate. We need a member from Health and Social Services. Mayor Roy. Can you just give it a second? It'll come on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Dyes. Councillor Anderson as our Child and Youth Advocate. And I move to close nominations.
Okay, same mover, same seconder on closing nominations. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, Councillor Anderson. Call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none. Congratulations, Councillor Anderson. Durham Region Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan Steering Committee. We need a regional councillor and a regional councillor alternate. So, looking to the floor, Mayor Ash.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would move Councillor Brenner to be the regional councillor
Seconder.
designated.
Councillor Lee. Okay. Is there any other? Okay, thank you. Councillor Dyes.
I would move Councillor Crawford.
Okay, looking for seconder. Seconded by Mayor Collier. Now, is this for the main position or the alternate position?
Main.
So that Councillor Brenner, you're for the main. Okay.
Can we move this to the end of the agenda as well?
Not yet, but I'll go to Councillor Pickles.
Move Councillor Yamada.
Councillor
Yamada.
Councillor for the main.
Yes.
Mr. Clerk, I'm going to have to ask you for next step.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, I think we would handle this as a runoff vote. So we will ask all members in alphabetical order their selection for the regional council position, which member they would like to appoint to that position. And we will do subsequent rounds if no member receives a majority threshold on the first vote.
So, Mr. Clerk, we're going to deal with the regional councillor issue right now. We'll come back and do the alternate after this. So I'm going to ask for nominations to be closed. Moved by Councillor Chapman, seconded by Mayor Collier. Mr. Clerk, we have 3 candidates. I'm going to ask if they'll stand. The first candidate is Councillor Brenner. Second candidate is Councillor Crawford, standing. And third candidate is Councillor Yamada. Councillor Yamato, we'll need to hear you.
Mr. Chair, I won't stand for this committee
So
as the alternate.
you're withdrawing your name.
I am. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, so the vote is down to 2. Okay, Mr. Clerk, can I have you conduct that vote now, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. To clarify the rules of this vote for members, we will call all members alphabetically by name. Please state the member you wish to vote for. The member that receives the majority vote will be appointed to the position. Beginning with Councillor Anderson. Yeah.
Use your microphone, yes, please.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Crawford.
Councillor Ash.
Brenner.
Councillor Brennan. Councillor Carter.
Brenner.
Councillor Collier.
Oh, sorry, Mayor, Councillor Chapman.
Sorry, Councillor Chapman. My apologies, Councillor Chapman. Councillor Collier.
No offense, Maurice. Crawford.
Councillor Cook.
Brenner.
Councillor Crawford. Councillor Dyes. Councillor Foster. Councillor Garrod. Councillor Jubb. Councillor Kerr. Councillor Leahy.
There's only 2 choices, Councillor.
Councillor Lee. Councillor Marin-Pietri. Councillor McDougall. Councillor Mulcahy.
Crawford.
Councillor Neal.
Brennan.
Councillor Pickles. Councillor Roy. Councillor Schumer.
Crawford.
Councillor Shahid.
Crawford.
Councillor Wu.
Crawford.
Councillor Watton. Councillor Yamada.
Brenner.
Regional Chair Henry.
Crawford. Wait a second, please. Pardon? Oh. Okay.
Councillor Barton.
Brenner. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
you.
can.
Great.
Thank you. The result is 15 Crawford, 13 Brennan.
Okay. So, all like the vote's taking place. Congratulations. We'll have to do the alternate now.
I would move Councillor Brenner as the alternate.
Councillor Brenner.
Seconded.
Oh, wait a second. Who was that? Mayor Barton that seconded?
And no, that was Councillor Cook.
Councillor Cook. Okay, thank you. Any other Councillor Chapman moves nominations closed, seconded by Mayor Collier. All those in favor of nominations closed?
Aye.
Okay. Councillor Brenner, you'll stand. We'll call the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations. Members of council will move on to the Durham Region Local Housing Corporation. So the regional chair, I will go to, Mr. Clerk, I'll have to get somebody to move me, will I? Or is it just assumed within our procedure by?
Recommendations, but we can include.
Okay, so moved by Councillor Leahy. I'm looking for a seconder on the regional chair, Councillor Shahid. I move that nominations be closed. I guess I can't move it. Somebody move nominations be closed. Councillor Chapman. I'll ask myself if I'll stand. The answer is yes. Can I call the vote? All those in favor? In opposition? Yep. Thank you, and I'll congratulate myself. No, I'm only kidding. Thank you, members of council. I'm going to go to the committee chairs. Health and Social Services. Mayor Roy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Dyes. I have Councillor Jubb, Councillor Mayor Carter, and Councillor Anderson. And I move to close nominations.
Same seconder?
Yes, please.
Okay. Nominations are now closed. I will go to Councillor Jubb, Councillor Anderson, and Mayor Carter. You'll stand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Members of council, I'm going to call the vote on those three members from Health and Social Services. All those in favor? In opposition? Hearing none, that carries. I'm going to Mayor Ash for Finance and Administration Committee member.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Leahy, that Mayor Schumer be appointed on behalf of Finance, and I will have a further motion on the regional councillor position as well.
You know what? I'm going to need a minute. Just give me 1 second. Members of council, what we were trying to do is with this, and I'm not trying to change anything, but we're trying to get support for the not-for-profit housing corporation from all the municipalities, as many as members. This would put 2 members from Brock on the same committee.
I do have a Councillor Leahy has indicated a willingness to do it. Mayor Schumer also did. So, if Mayor Schumer wants to stand down, that's fine. But I wasn't aware of the geographic balance we were looking for. So,
well, it does cover. It is a regional committee, right?
Yeah.
So, Mayor Schumer.
Yeah, in the interest of making it as fair as possible, I can stand down.
Stand down. Is that what you heard? Okay, so I'll go to you again, Mayor Ash.
Yeah, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Leahy that Councillor Leahy be the designate from Finance.
Okay. Mayor Ash, nominations closed.
Second by Councillor Leahy.
Councillor Leahy. Okay, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? That carries. Planning and Economic Development Committee, Councillor Chapman.
Yeah, this is not geographical, and it's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Pickles, that Councillor Chapman be appointed.
As the chair of the committee.
Or you can be the chair if you want. I thought the committee picked the chair.
You're moving yourself. You're moving yourself as the chair of the committee. Okay, thank you.
No, I'm moving myself to be on the committee.
I understand that. As chair, you're moving
Yes,
yourself.
I am, and there's no rules that say you can't nominate yourself.
You're
Thank
absolutely right. Okay. Is there move nominations be closed then, please? Same seconder?
Yes.
Okay. On nominations being closed, all those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, you'll stand, of course. Congratulations. We need one regional councillor at large. It's Mayor Ash.
Barton.
So you're moving Councillor Barton, seconded by Councillor Brenner. Are there any other nominations? Oh, not quite. I moved before that. I don't want to leave the chair, but I would like to take that. Go ahead, Councillor Chapman. Move to close.
Did you want to nominate somebody?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
Thank you.
move that be closed.
Moved by close, seconded by Councillor Lee. On closing, all those in favor? In opposition? Hearing none, that carries. Councillor Lee, congratulations. Okay, we're moving on to.
It was Mayor Barton.
Oh, sorry, Mayor Barton. I'm sorry.
But I'll take your congratulations.
You know, I think between. Yes, it is getting to be a long meeting without lunch, so we'll try to push our way through this, so thank you. Next is the Durham Region Not-for-Profit Housing Corporation. Could I get somebody to move the members that are already here, and then we'll go to Health and Social Services, or we can try to do Health and Social Services and do it all at once.
So I would move the regional chair, Mayor Ash, Mayor Roy, be appointed to the Nonprofit Housing Corporation. I can give you more if you like.
Well, and Councillor Chapman and
Not on there. No, it's the regional chair, chair of finance, chair of social services, a member of social services, and a member of council. I would also nominate Mayor Foster. I'm stepping on Councillor Roy, or Mayor Roy's toes here for the health and social service, one of them.
Okay, a second nomination. Mayor Roy is the chair.
And my regional council choice is Dies. Thank you.
Oh, okay. It'll be there in a second. Mayor Roy, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And I just want to express that from the members of Health and Social Services, there was a vast interest in this committee, which was very encouraging. But through the committee suggestions as well, it's Mayor Foster and Councillor Dies. So moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Dies, and I move to close nominations.
So nominations are closed. Seconded by Councillor Chapman. Nominations being closed. Oh, sorry, we just called for nominations to be closed, then I'll come to you and ask. Okay, nominations are closed, so we called the vote. That carries. Mayor Foster, you'll stand. Okay, thank you. Councillor Dies, you'll stand. We'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Congratulations to both of you. Golden Horseshoe Food and Farming Alliance, a member of Planning and Economic Development Committee and an alternate. Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I apologize. I also missed Ganaraska Region Conservation Authority. So we'll go to a Works Committee chairman, and we're looking for a Works Committee member. Mayor Barton?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We would actually like to have two members of the Works Committee, so we may want to move this to the end, both Councillor Crawford and Councillor Yamada.
So just let me have a conversation with the clerk. Mr. Clerk, this is really a staff generated committee. Would you see a challenge to have two members from Works Committee on that committee?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't think it would be an issue. The Vision Zero Task Force does not have a terms of reference formally established that sets out the requirements for members, so it shouldn't be an issue to add a second member.
I'll second the nomination. Okay, so the names again are? Yamada and Crawford. Correct, Mr. Quinn? Okay, nominations to be closed. Councillor Brenner, seconded by Councillor Kerr. On nominations being closed. Councillor Crawford, you'll stand. Thank you. Councillor Yamada, sorry, speaking to the screen. Councillor Yamada.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposition? That carries. Congratulations. We'll now move to the Ganaraska Region Conservation Authority. Two members from Clarington Council. I'll go to Mayor Foster.
I'm moving Councillor Wu and Councillor Swart.
Councillor Wu and Councillor Swart. Okay, nominations being closed. Sorry, Councillor Anderson. Seconded. Okay, thank you. Nominations be closed. Same mover and same seconder. Before I call the vote, Councillor Wu, you'll stand. Okay. Mayor Foster, you had a conversation with Councillor Swart?
Yes.
And she's going to stand?
Correct.
Thank you. I'll call the vote then. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Golden Horseshoe Food and Farming. Back to you, Councillor Chapman.
Watton, with Councillor Neal as the alternate.
Move and second that nominations close.
Okay. On closing nominations, all those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Mayor One? Okay. Councillor Neal?
Yes.
Okay. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Congratulations. Kawartha Conservation, four members, one from the Township of Brock, one from the Municipality of Clarington, and two from the Township of Scugog. I will go to each of the mayors in order. Township of Brock, Mayor Schumer.
I will move Councillor Pettengill, or sorry, Priya Pettengill.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Foster.
Councillor Rang, he has agreed to stand.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Watton.
Rock and Councillor Wright both have agreed.
Okay. So then I'll move that nominations be. Can I get a mover for nomination? Call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. On the Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority, with three members, one from the Township of Brock, one from the Township of Scugog, and one from the Township of Uxbridge. I'm going to go to the Mayor of Brock first, Mayor Schumer. Mayor Schumer.
I will move Councillor Pettengill.
Okay, thank you. The Mayor of Scugog, Mayor what?
I'll move Councillor Leroy.
Okay. Township of Uxbridge, Mayor Barton.
Yes, Councillor Garrett, thank you.
Okay, we need a seconder on those names, Mr. Clerk. I need a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Jubb. I'll move somebody move nominations be closed. Thank you, Mayor Watton, seconded by Councillor Wu. On nominations being closed, all those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, I'll call the vote, relying upon the mayors. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Back to you, Chair Chapman, on the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair Association.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Pickles, that Councillor Pickles be appointed.
Councillor Pickles. Okay, move nominations be closed. Same seconder. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Before I call the vote, Councillor Pickles. Yes, you will stand. Call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Congratulations. Next is the Toronto Region Conservation Authority. The three members, one from the town of Ajax, one from the city of Pickering, and one from the township of Uxbridge. I'll go to the Mayor of Ajax, Mayor Collier. Sorry, moving Councillor Dice. Okay, thank you. I'm going to Mayor Ash.
I move myself to represent City of Pickering on TRC.
Okay, thank you. And to the Mayor of Uxbridge, Mayor Barton.
Again, I'm trying to be more like the Mayor of Pickering. I'm going to move myself as well.
Okay, thank you. I need a seconder on these three names. Councillor Lee. I'll look for nominations to be closed. Councillor Shahid. Councillor Kerr. Closing nominations. Looking for the vote. In closing nominations. Okay, thank you. In opposition, seeing none. To the three members of council, you all, Mayor Ash, of course you'll stand. Mayor Barton, you'll stand. Councillor Dice, you'll stand as well. Members of council will call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? None, that carries. Members of council will move on to item 12.2, the appointments to the Central Lake Ontario Conservation Authority. So that the following individuals are recommended to, so this is on page 63, from the town of Ajax is Councillor Crawford, from Clarington, it's Councillor Elijah and Trail. Mr. Clerk, I have a question on Councillor Hooper, or a retired Councillor Hooper. There is a note below. So notwithstanding, okay. So Mr. Clerk, how do we deal with a non-elected official being a member of the Conservation Authority?
So through you, Mr. Chair, council members may recall that back in April of 2022, the policy with respect to appointments to conservation authorities was considered and amended by regional council to eliminate the opportunity for citizen representatives to be appointed by regional council to conservation authorities. And this was in direct response to amendments to the Conservation Authorities Act that set limitations on council member representation on conservation authorities at a minimum of 70% of their seats. So council within its policies has previously made a statement that it will not accept citizen representatives. However, barring that, council can, notwithstanding its own policies, adopt that as part of these recommendations. Okay. However, it would not be our recommendation to run contrary to regional policies that have been adopted by council.
So I'll go to you, Mayor Foster. Yeah, Mayor Foster.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's just waiting for the mic to turn on. Former Councillor Hooper's inclusion on the Conservation Authority would not be outside of boundaries of the Act. The Act does allow individuals. The municipality of Clarington Council recognized former Councillor Hooper's contributions to the Cloca board, and he would be very interested in carrying on with that board. So while it doesn't fit in with regional policy, this is our policy. We get to enforce or not enforce our policy, and the municipality of Clarington would certainly appreciate former Councillor Hooper's engagement with Cloca.
So, Mr. Clerk, would that mean that a motion would have to come forth from the mayor, notwithstanding the existing rules, to appoint Councillor Hooper? So it would be appropriate. We'll deal with these in individual blocks so we can vote on it. So, Mayor Foster, I would need you to move a motion, notwithstanding the existing rules related to the region's position, to nominate Ron Hooper.
Just waiting for the mic, Mr. Chair. Thank you. I'll be delighted. I'll be delighted to do so. I don't know if there is a point to be made on policy versus rules, but if it makes it easier, happy to accept your recommendation, sir.
Okay. So it's been seconded. So we're going to have to vote on the recommendation first, correct, Mr. Clerk?
Would you like to separate that one out for a separate vote?
Yeah. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking to you for advice. So it has been moved and seconded. So for voting purposes, should we separate?
Through you, Mr. Chair, perhaps to simplify this, it might make sense to separate voting on Mr. Hooper's appointment, moved and seconded, and then return to the remainder.
Okay. So, members of council, so you're aware of what we're about to do. Go ahead.
So my question is, as much as we have a policy and we can waive the policy, what does Cloca's bylaws say about its membership on its board? Because if its membership says that it has to be a councillor, then we can waive our policy all we want. We need to get them to change their bylaws.
So
I don't have them with me.
I was just going to ask, as you are still the current chair of Cloca.
Yeah, for another few days. Yeah.
Another few days. So I'm looking to you for advice, but you don't.
Sorry, I didn't memorize the bylaws as the chair, but perhaps we could do a double whammy here, and we want to waive the policy that's a vote by itself, but we could defer the appointment of Councillor Hooper until we've had discussions and confirmations with Cloca. They may well. I mean, I served with ex-councillor Hooper for the last 12 years on that board, and if anybody that's coming to be there, he's well worthwhile having on the board. But we want to make sure that we do it properly. So maybe defer the nomination and confirm it later at another council after, if the bylaws have to be changed, unless the clerk, I see sparkled eyes here now, maybe he has the answer already, I'm not sure.
Mr. Clerk? Through you, Mr. Chair. I do have CLOCA's administrative bylaws in front of me here, and with respect to membership, I'll just read out the relevant provision. The region must ensure that at least 70% of its appointees are selected from among the members of regional council, or they may apply to the minister for permission to appoint less than this percent. Additional appointees may include citizens as well as additional members who may
There you go, that covers it then.
So it is permitted.
Okay.
So I think, Mr. Clerk, from a procedure point of view, we'll vote on Mr. Hooper now, and then we'll come back and vote on the other two. Okay. So members of council, we'll vote on Mr. Hooper now. I'll call the vote. All those. Just the appointment. Okay. So on the appointment of Mr. Hooper, we'll call the vote now. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
In opposition? Mr. Clerk, I see no opposition, so we'll continue on the two councillors from Clarington. We'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. From the city of Oshawa, we have 4 names. We have Councillor Chapman, Councillor Kerr, Councillor Miriam Pietri, and Councillor Neal. Councillor Chapman, will you move those 4 names, please? Could the voice from above, Mayor Carter, could you do that, please?
My pleasure, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, moved by Mayor, seconded by Councillor Chapman. On the 4 names from Oshawa, nominations be closed. Same mover, same seconder. Nominations, we'll call that on closing nominations. In opposition, seeing none, that carries. Councillor Chapman, you'll stand. Councillor Kerr, Councillor Miriam Pietri, Councillor Neal. Okay, then we'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition, seeing none, that carries. Congratulations. From the city of Pickering, Mayor Ash, you're moving.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's moved by myself, second by Councillor Brenner, that Councillor Pickles be nominated to represent the city of Pickering.
Okay, nominations closed. Same mover, same seconder. Okay, vote on nominations being closed. We'll check with Councillor Pickles for nod. Okay, thank you. We'll call the vote. All those in favor? Okay. Opposed? None. That carries. Congratulations. From the Township of Scugog, Mayor Watton is not here. Okay, so from the Township of Scugog, could I get a mover for Councillor McDougall? Moved by, okay, so first hand up was Councillor Shahid. Second one is Councillor Lee. Nominations closed. Councillor Wu. Nominations closed. Looking for a seconder, Councillor Anderson. On nominations being closed, all those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none. Councillor McDougall, you'll stand. Congratulations. We'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? From the Township of Uxbridge, Mayor Barton?
Yes, I'd like to put forward Councillor Garrett.
And looking for a seconder, Councillor Chapman. Nominations being closed, same mover, same seconder. On nominations being closed. Okay. Councillor Garrard, you'll stand. Okay, we'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. The next one is the following regional councillors from the, okay, so just one second, please. that the following regional councillors from the town of Whitby be appointed to the Central Lake Conservation Authority for rotating one term as follows. Members of council, please turn to page 63. They're all listed here. I don't want to read through all of them, but I will go to Mayor Roy. So are you, their names are all the same for all 4 years. So are you moving? They're not, sorry. Okay.
Term, and second by Councillor Shahid.
Okay. So, Mr. Clerk, the names don't, in this block drawing, don't shift, but you understand the context. Okay, so the clerk understands the context of what's being moved. So moved and seconded by Councillor Shahid.
I have a point that maybe Mayor Roy wants to make the amendment. The Conservation Authority boards, regardless of an election, sit till the end of the year. So the last one there, they would be sitting until the 31st of December, because technically everybody that's on the CLOCA board right now, elected or not, serves until the 31st of December. That's why I'm still the chair, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, we can change that appropriately.
Okay, so we'll just take that as direction.
Yeah.
Okay. So moved and seconded, nominations be closed. Councillor Shahid, Mayor Roy, on closing nominations. Okay, thank you. Nominations are now closed. That passes, and the Mayor Roy, all members have agreed. So then we'll just call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Mr. Clerk, we had one to come back. So the item was, again, was it item K? No, sorry, which item was it to come back? K. Okay, you have some clarification for us?
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So just with respect to the terms of reference for the Durham Region Anti-Racism Task Force, it does specify a member of council and an alternate to participate on the committee. There are a couple different ways that we could approach this. If it's regional council's desire to expand the membership to 2 members of regional council, then I think it would be appropriate to get a motion to amend the terms of reference. It will require 2/3 to be introduced without notice.
Okay.
The Alder approach could be that the alternate member could attend those meetings, but would not have any voting rights in participating if the approved member is present.
But they still will be able to participate in the meeting.
Yes, they could.
So I put it, you've heard the clerk, members of council. Councillor Mayor Pietri?
I'll move the motion to amend the terms of reference so that we can have 2 voting members because we do have 2 candidates at this current time. So the floor was closed with respect to further nominations. The nominations, from what I understand through you, Chair to Clerks, is that we have Councillor Lee and Councillor Shahid. And so we're moving forward with those nominees. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. No, I'm just getting a ruling because,
So,
is that correct?
So, yes.
Okay.
So you'll need a seconder for your motion. Seconded by Councillor Mulcahy. So, members of council, this will take 2/3. I'm not sure if anybody's in the back room having a coffee, but could you bring them in, please? So, members of council, just so you're aware, we're just changing the governance rules to allow 2 members of council from the works, 2 members of council to have full participation, correct, Mr. Clerk? As voting members. So then the back room is empty. Okay, so members of council, it'll take 2/3. So we'll call the vote now, and if I need to, I'll have to do is record a vote. You're going to ask for a record a vote? Okay, record a vote called by Councillor Marin Pietri.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We're now ready for the recorded vote. This is to dispense with notice to introduce a motion to amend the Durham Region Anti-Racism Task Force terms of reference. Councillor Wu.
Okay, so that carries. So members council, we did accept 2 names while we were getting direction from the clerk. So I'll just ask if oh, sorry, go ahead.
That was to introduce the motion.
Yeah.
We need a majority vote to amend the terms of reference.
Okay, so members of council, now we need a simple majority vote to amend the terms. We'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that gives us that. So now we'll vote on the 2 members. So the 2 members are Councillor Lee and Councillor Shahid. Councillor Lee, you'll stand. Okay. Councillor Shahid, you'll stand. Okay, members of council, we'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Congratulations to both of you. Now we need an alternate. Okay. Okay, so members of council, moved by Councillor Lee, seconded by Councillor Miriam Pietri, that the alternate for this committee, the Durham Region Anti-Racism Task Force, is they've nominated Councillor Anderson. I'll move that nominations be closed. Moved by Councillor Crawford, seconded by Councillor Pickles. All those in favor of closing nominations? Thank you. Councillor Anderson is the alternate. You'll stand. Thank you. We'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. Okay, members of council, just give me, why don't leave the room. Just stand up for a second. I need to have a conversation with the clerk, but don't leave your chairs or your seats. Don't leave the room. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. On item O, Mr. Clerk, we talked about the makeup of the Durham Region not-for-profit. My recollection, and we can change this later, but my recollection in debate was that the chair of F&A was not included. My recollection might be incorrect, but I think you'd looked into that. So just you may want to look into that we don't need to deal with this today.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Clerk, we'll leave that with you. Okay, thank you. Just 1 second, remember. Members of council, will continue to move on. If I can get you back in your seats. Thank you for exercising your legs. I know it's been a long morning and we're just about finished. So, members of council, the next item in our agenda is the item 12.3. There's a confidential report under a separate cover. Could I get it moved and seconded? So moved by Councillor Leahy, seconded by Councillor McDougall, that the report's here. Now, does anybody wish to go into closed session or has comments on this report? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none, that carries. So now we'll move on to announcements. Councillor Miriam Pietri.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to, I know that we have the mayor online as well as other council members from the City of Oshawa. We have a levy that the City of Oshawa is hosting on January the 2nd at Parkwood. But more than the levy, we have our New Year's Eve celebration, which is Oshawa Celebrates. You'll remember that as the former mayor. It's an exciting venue at the Legend Center, which is now the Del Park Center in Oshawa, and it's free. It's for families to come. The doors open, I believe, at around 5:30, and by 6:30, the festivities commence. Our events team in Oshawa put together a really nice evening. And for those who are visiting family in Oshawa or from Oshawa and looking for something to do that evening on New Year's Eve, we have that venue open, which is the Dell Park Community Center, essentially up on Harmony Road. So there's ice skating, there's face painting, there's balloons, there's all kinds of stuff for young families, but also for anyone that's looking forward to just celebrating the New Year's after we have the the ball drop or the balloon drop. So it's really nice. It's really nice for families of all ages, and we've got a library there as well as a pool and a great deal of excitement that our events team put together. Now, on that, I just wanted to wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all the holidays, and I hope that everyone here on council, as well as staff and anyone tuning in, and your families, have a great New Year.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Garat.
Thank you, Chair. An event happening in Uxbridge as well, the Optimus Fantasy of Lights. Beautiful setups, almost 100 displays. People are welcome to come in, just drive through if you like, or walk through, bring your pet, not a cat, Councillor Chapman. It's an amazing display. There's a YouTube video if you look at my Facebook page or some others of some drone footage. It really is worth your time to drive up and take a drive through, and donations to the Optimus are all in support of local children's charities. So I encourage everybody to come and visit. Thank you. Worth the drive to Uxbridge.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other member of council? Seeing none, then Mr. Clerk, the next would be bylaws. So I'll go to Mayor Ash.
Mr. Chair, it's moved by myself and second by Councillor Jube that bylaw numbers 53, 2022 to 58, 2022 and bylaw 62, 2022 to 65, 2022 be passed, dated this 21st day of December 2022.
Okay, items are moved and seconded. Councillor Neal.
Yeah, I'd like to pull 14.3 through to 14.6 for recorded vote. 55-2022, 56-2022, 57-2022, 58-2022.
So 14, sorry, I missed the first number. 14. Numbers again, please.
55-2022, 56-2022, 57-2022, 58-2022.
So just the three.
The four.
Oh, okay. Sorry, 57 and 58. Okay, on the remainder, we'll call the vote. All those in favor? And opposed? Pardon, Mr. Clerk? Okay, sorry. I've called the vote on those bylaws. Did you wish to speak on the other bylaws?
Well, I was just wondering if you needed a seconder other than Councillor Jube.
Pardon?
I'd be happy to be the seconder if you need one.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So the clerk notes the correction on the seconder. So those bylaws have carried. Now we'll call for Councillor Neal. Can we do a recorded vote on the ones that you called all at once? Oh, if that's okay.
You and the clerk.
Yep. So Mr. Clerk, we're calling for a recorded vote on 55, 56, 57, and 58. Okay, Mr. Clerk, can you conduct that vote, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Voting on the bylaws will open now. Looking for Councillor Dyes. Councillor Kerr. Thank you. Councillor Anderson is our remaining one. He is absent.
Okay.
And just to note, Councillor Anderson will be indicated as absent.
Okay, so that carries. Mr. Clerk, we'll move on to the confirming bylaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's moved by myself and second by Councillor Lee that bylaw number 66/2022 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Regional Municipality of Durham at their meeting held 21st day of December 2022 be passed, and that bylaw be dated the 21st day of December 2022.
Okay, thank you. On the confirming bylaw, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? In opposition? Seeing none. Just before we go to adjournment, to our CAO, Elaine Baxter-Traher, and to staff, thank you for the great work that you do and you continue to do. And council, on behalf of council, we wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, or however you celebrate the season, just happy holidays. To members of council, thank you for being here today and all that you've done working together. It's been a long meeting. And finally, before you go, remember that it is going to be a tough few days of very severe weather, and we'll have municipal and regional staff out working, from our works department, our water treatment plant operators, our daycare, our paramedics, and police officers, and of course all of our roads crews and firefighters at the lower tier municipalities and the municipal staff. They may not get the same Christmas that you will get, so keep them in their thoughts. And I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we look forward to seeing you in January. I'll call for the motion to adjourn. Moved by Mayor Collier, seconded by Councillor Shahid. On adjournment, all those in favor? Opposed? Happy holidays. Have a great, safe day.